syncs the audio with the video.
Oh, because it's like a distinct noise and movement.
Mm-hmm. You got to get one of the buffers for your mic.
Mm-hmm.
Are you chewing that?
So I'm trying a little nicotine for this podcast. So if it goes off the rails, we're blaming it on that.
What if I puke?
You're not gonna like this
What
at
is
all.
what does it feel like?
Say,
You're not gonna like
You're
this
gonna
at all.
just feel.
Can you already feel it?
No, but it's like
She's not gonna like
very
it.
nicotine-y taste.
How do
You didn't get a flavored one?
Just crack it open. Yeah, it's mint,
Oh.
but you can still taste that nicotine-y kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you do with it? What do you do with it?
Put it in your lip. Like
Yeah.
a
But
dip.
But you have to crack it?
No, not these ones.
You just put it in there.
Yeah,
I wouldn't taste it. I would put it just in like a pillow.
I just mushed it a little bit so it would unleash the flavor.
Steven's gonna be so proud of y'all for this.
We're going off the rails. This is for Steven.
That's for Steven.
Wait,
See how it goes.
512.
It's 5:11.
511. I want to time it in case I need to take it out. I don't taste anything. Tastes
Just wait.
spicy.
Yeah.
Sort of get a little throat tickle from it.
Should I put it underneath my tongue?
No.
No, from the side.
Put it wherever you want.
I just put it in your cheek. Yeah.
It just tastes spicy.
Yeah.
Can I drink things with it?
Yeah. You're
No,
so nervous about
You have to
everything.
not swallow anything right now.
Don't swallow anything?
When you gotta really watch the swallowing, smacking the.
Oh my gosh.
All
I
the
have
audio
to.
listeners are not gonna be happy with
I'll
that.
hold it like this when I do it. I have to, when I edit mine, I'm sorry for the people that are going to listen because I didn't do it a great job for the first one. The sounds of me swallowing is absolutely outrageous. It's like everything I say, like you can hear the saliva in my mouth. I have to take the audio.
Disgusting.
I have to take the audio off. Yeah, terrible. Okay, plug all your stuff first, right off the jump. This
Move
is
with Abby.
double underscore, right?
Yeah. At Move with Abby Instagram. Double underscore. My YouTube at Move with Abby. No underscores. And my TikTok, which I'm not active on, at Abby Purcell. Purcell 13.
But you still have stuff on there.
Very old things. Probably things of us.
I feel like you
Lift
had a
with
couple.
us.
Those were back in the day. Like
Back in the day.
That was such a fun, like, okay, so how I know.
Well, yeah, you guys should start like.
Yeah.
Do you
What's our
remember
origin
when
story?
you met?
How did
Yeah.
we meet?
I don't know.
I actually don't remember the first time we met either, to be honest.
Actually, no. The first time that I do remember you,
I'm scared.
it probably was 5, 6, 7 years ago. And it was Seattle
When I was
you were sick.
Oh, that's
Maybe
funny.
that was the
And
first
she
time
took
we met.
everyone out. Y'all tell the
okay,
story of like how you got there
I was
because
gonna
you had
say,
like shitty
It
flight
was
experience.
so bad. Okay, so I think I was a freshman in college because I was living in my little 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom apartment at U of H. And I remember getting an email at like 11 p.m. the night before, which was probably a Thursday because I think I was flying in Friday. I think we started on Fridays back then.
Yeah.
And it was like, your flight's canceled. And I was like, oh no. And I knew I was the first shift that day working lineup and that no one else was going to be there yet. So I was like, I have to get there. So
2 minutes she lasted.
I lasted 2 minutes. I already had to take it out.
oh my
Do you want
gosh.
it?
No.
Wait, why? Did you get buzzed?
I already feel like I'm like. So 2 minutes. I lasted 2 minutes with it in.
Steven would be disappointed in you.
I'm sorry, everyone.
Really?
I feel like
You feel really buzzed?
it almost like starts to feel spinny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be done with it. I'm not gonna do that again.
Anyway.
You're my favorite person.
Aww.
You are just such a little kid.
Okay, back to your terrible story.
So I get on standby for another flight, and I mean, I never go to sleep. And I remember I had spray tanned. I vividly remember this. I spray tanned, and you rinse it off after like a couple hours. I like never rinsed it off, so I just was like felt disgusting the whole day. Okay, so then it's like 4 a.m. and I've got to drive to the airport to get on standby for this flight. And then I get on the flight, and I'm in this middle seat, which, if you know me, I'm an aisle girl. I don't do the window. I don't do the middle. I need to be able to get up and run if worse comes to worse. Like, I need to. It is paranoia.
Are you afraid of flying?
I'm not afraid of flying. I'm afraid of being trapped.
Oh, so like claustrophobia kind of thing.
Yeah. But more just like I need to be able to get up and go. Like, for whatever reason, right? And if I'm in the middle, I can't do that. So I'm in the middle seat of these people, and they are not small, so I'm pretty tight in there. You know what I mean? And it just didn't feel great, but then I tried to go to sleep because it's like 6 a.m. and I'm flying from Houston to Dallas, and then Dallas, I'll go to Seattle from there. And that flight was fine. It was just if I could make the connection. For some reason, the flight from Houston to Dallas got canceled, and I had to get on another one. Anyway, long story short, get to the Dallas airport. I'm starving because I've been up all night. So I get this breakfast sandwich. Oh my God, worst decision I've ever made in my entire life. It's why I don't like eating at airports, because I got so sick. I fell asleep after I ate it because I was tired. Barely got on the next flight. Then as I'm on this flight, another middle seat. I don't remember why. Or maybe I wasn't on a middle seat the first flight. It was the second flight. Anyway, in the middle seat, these people next to me are eating like fried chicken. It just smells horrible. I'm having the sweats. Like, I'm profusely sweating, feeling like I'm gonna vomit everywhere.
It's crazy when you're sick how disgusting food smells.
Oh,
Like the things that you think are the best smelling foods, all of a sudden you're like, oh,
horrible.
I want to puke.
Horrible. And I remember I got up to go to the bathroom like 12 times just because and that's where I was like, why am I in the middle seat? Like, you would think they would just switch with me. I think it was a couple too, but they purposely got the middle in the window. And I'm like, I keep getting up. You would think you would just move over.
Were they like talking over you?
I don't even know. I just was
You were
not. I was not well. And I remember I was wearing sweatpants, like thick, heavy sweats, because it's like February, and it was gonna be cold in Seattle. And then I was wearing like a sweatshirt like this, but I had no shirt. I had like a sports bra and just a sweatshirt, so I couldn't take off my sweatshirt as I'm profusely sweating because I would just be in a sports bra. I'm like, you can't do that on a plane. I mean, you probably could, but I was like, I'm not gonna do
People will
that.
go barefoot on a plane.
That's true,
It's
but still,
gross.
I mean, I wasn't gonna do it.
You're not a gross person. So.
No, and so thank you for that
You're welcome.
validation. Anyway,
There's your compliment for the day.
get to Seattle, and I get to the hotel, whatever, and I'm just like, I'm not feeling great, and my room's not ready. And I see Carrie, and she's like, "Oh, sweetie, you can go to my room." And I was like, "Okay." And
Wait,
so
how many years had you been doing Dupre at this time?
If I was a freshman, I was probably 18 years old. So I'd been with them for like 3 years so
okay,
far.
so she knew you pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she knew me really well. She was like, go to my room, take a nap, whatever. And of course, they've got like the presidential suite, and it is nicer than like any hotel room. We're on Lake Washington. I love that hotel.
I know. We don't go to that one
they
anymore.
would go back to that one. And I just remember about 15 minutes later, I wake up from my nap, and I'm just like, oh no. And I run to the bathroom, and I throw up all over the toilet. Like the whole thing. And I just was like, oh no, my boss's bathroom. I'm going to get fired.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I can't work. Like, who's going to take the shift, you know? And I call Carrie, and she's like, honey, we're in a hotel. That's what housekeeping's for. I just died.
Got a point.
But she's right. And so I just sat there for a second, and then, eventually got to go to my room. But then everyone else got sick.
But then it was like everyone just started dropping like flies with fevers. I lost my voice.
I don't know if
There's no way it was you.
I don't know if I had food poisoning or if I was sick, or if it was a combo of the two.
Yeah.
I think it was a combo because I got better. And so I kind of think mine was food. Like, I danced through the whole weekend.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel great. So I don't know if y'all got sick from something else or if I had something and maybe the food poisoning and that together, just that breakfast sandwich. I'm sorry, but there was something.
If you got better, it probably was that. Maybe we all got sick from a bug of some sort.
You got sick too?
Because, yeah, we all got like fevers. We all got fevers.
How old were you? Where were we living at this time?
Probably California.
Because I don't remember. I feel
Actually,
like I vaguely
no,
remember
I
you
think
texting me saying you were sick one of the times.
Either we were living in California or we were still back in Wisconsin.
And you know what?
We were back in Wisconsin.
Being sick, not at home, is double worse.
Well, let me finish this story, and then I'll get to the I was sick this last year. But we all just started getting sick. I completely lost my voice. And I think when I have fevers, I lose my voice. So I was like, oh, this is something funky.
That's so weird.
And that was also when I started emceeing during that time. And I was like, I cannot do this. And it was a weekend where I had all hip hop and all Bollywood. And I told Kavita, I was like, this is not going to be good. But danced the whole weekend. But it was like all of us swapping of like, who feels better this hour? Kate, can you take the senior class? Who feels better this hour? Like, we were just makeshifting what we needed to do because it was but it was like everyone just started getting sick. But then this last year, Arizona, I think I got food poisoning after the first day. I did awards, I emceed, and then I came.
Was that my birthday weekend?
No, this was this last year when you were here.
Yeah.
No, I know, because I remember Carrie had texted me happy birthday a day late, and she was like, everyone's sick here.
I definitely got it
that weekend.
Yes, I definitely got it from the food. Megan also got sick, but because it was like I got off stage, did the awards, and I was like, I just kind of feel funny. And I was standing there, and I told us, I was like, I think I might go puke. And like I went and I threw up and I came back and she was like, you feel? I was like, no, like I feel still bad. And I got done early that night, so I went back and I just could not stop throwing up. And then you came back and I was like, something is weird. And I had to teach the next morning and I was like, oh, and it was only my second city doing that. So I texted both of them and I was like, hey, just a heads up, something is off. Like I can't even like stand up and like walk around. Like I'm either puking or I'm laying in bed. And the next day I slept the entire day. I could not keep anything down. Yeah. You brought me snacks, but like I could not keep anything down.
I was like forcing you to eat.
It was like the convention food. It was one of those where we had to eat at the convention. Yeah. But it is like being in a hotel room, not at home, sucks. It was so one where we were at where the hotel isn't connected to the convention center.
You gotta like walk.
So like I was in the hotel by myself. Everyone was down the street at the convention center. And then to be on a work weekend where I'm just like, I'm not doing anything. Well, like I'm not able to help at all.
Both of you two, like how you're wired, that just destroys your heart.
Carrie sent me probably 20 texts that day. Like, don't feel bad. I know what you're feeling. I know that you feel like you're like, just don't worry about it.
A failure of life.
Oh my God. Cause I'm like, I should be able to stick it out.
Yep.
Yeah. But I was like, because I was timing the amount of like how long I lasted in between throwing up. Sophia, also, by the way, do not listen to this part of the podcast. Do you know Sophia? She like has a problem with puking. Like she's terrified. She doesn't listen to this anyways, but
I actually don't throw up. Like the only way I throw up is if it is like completely just in reaction to like food poisoning or something. Like it's got to be so natural. I can't I don't
like throwing up.
I don't like my body. It will go through my system before it comes up.
Oh no!
So it's got to be wrong. You're like looking for a reason.
If my stomach feels a little bit off, I'm like, I'm gonna try to puke.
I can't. Like I literally cannot make myself throw up.
Yeah, but yeah, being sick on the weekend is terrible. But that's how the first weekend that I think I met you.
Probably.
But yeah, we were still living in Wisconsin.
Maybe it was 19. Maybe it was my sophomore year of college. I don't know.
But yeah, because you were wearing that black and white dress with this, and then your fuzzy sweater. You had short hair.
Oh yeah.
If you were 18 or 19, we would have been, what, 22, 23?
How old are you?
So we were gone. We were in California.
26?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was,
Were you guys rooming together?
No.
At that point?
I was with Katie.
I don't even know.
I don't think we were living in Wisconsin because we moved out at 19, 20.
Yeah, I think you were in California.
Really?
Yeah.
We had just gone to that hotel for so many years. Like
I had
blending.
never been to. No, that's a lie. But the year before that, we went to the Hyatt
downtown.
The Hyatt at the airport. Or maybe it was 2 years before that. Because my dad went with me. This was when I was like an assistant that didn't get.
Oh, I
like,
don't remember
way
that.
early, and my dad went with me. So random, and yeah, because we had like book our own hotels and everything.
Yeah.
But that was when I was like, I don't think I could travel. I think I was under 16. I think I was like 14 or 15. So that would have been a couple years before. Okay, yeah. So maybe you had been going to Lake Washington. I just hadn't been to Seattle.
To that one.
In
That
a
was like
while.
one of my consistent ones that they
Yeah,
had me
probably
go to.
because you were in California, so the flight was easier.
That probably makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did start going to Seattle when we were living in Wisconsin, but maybe only like a year
Yeah.
or before. Yeah, that probably makes sense,
So
actually.
you guys met then. When did you start to fall in love with each other?
Many years after that.
Yeah.
Because we didn't start going to the same cities as consistently.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Like-
yeah.
Because
I'm trying to think of what city.
it's like a blur. Like, it
It's
feels like
such
we
a
didn't know
blur.
each other, and then
we are really close. It's like didn't know each other at all, knows everything about each other, very comfortable with each other.
I think of that Arizona trip where you were like debating what to do with life. It's like we were
Yeah.
already close at that point, but
So when did we get close before then?
It was probably
I
when
don't
you
know.
first started rooming together, wouldn't you think? Or
You think it
even
was like
before
a
that?
but I
nationals
don't
or
know.
something? No,
no, because my first nationals was like way late.
Summer intensive, maybe.
I don't think I assisted at a summer intensive. I didn't
You
actually.
were in the All-Star dance?
Nope.
What?
I didn't do like any of the regular system. Like I never was an all-star. I never did the like coming up into the program. I just I just became an assistant.
Were you already out of high school when you did that?
No.
Huh.
Me and Caitlin Allen started around the same time, but she's a year
Caitlin
older
Allen
than
was
me.
in the same group as me.
Me too then.
But okay, so that year there was a group of us at the summer intensive.
In Florida. I did not do that one.
No, in
Oh.
Chicago, in Lombard.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And
I went to
we-
that one. I didn't do the nationals. That was a week after.
But
They used to do
you-
a week summer intensive and then a week
Yeah.
nationals right after. Like they flew to the next event. Could you imagine?
I never did the nationals. I only did the summer intensive. But
Same. Okay,
there was a
yes, I was
group
there.
of us that did a trial assisting class while we were there.
I must have been assisting then. I was probably assisting that event that you were trialing at.
I feel like it was like Macheski sisters, Taylor Franks.
Hannah and
Hannah.
Caitlin. Hannah Alfred.
Oh, yeah. Caitlin was not assisting yet. Caitlin and I came in at the same time. We all did a trial assistant class at that event. Like, Carrie was like, Caitlin, go do jazz funk. Abby, go do phase 3 tap. And we, like,
I don't
trial assisted.
My first time
And
assisting
then we
was
started.
was at a regional in Michigan.
Do you
So
know what
probably
year?
that year.
You know what year?
When 2015?
I think it was that summer. So maybe you
So
assisted.
I would have already assisted too
You
then.
assisted that summer, that event.
That regional.
You didn't assist at the summer intensive, and she probably didn't have you do a trial class because you already did assist,
Sure.
right?
I
And then
did
all of
Chicago.
us-
I did all of the Chicago's, the Michigan one, and that intensive.
I don't
that
think
year.
you assisted that summer intensive. Maybe it was the year after.
No, I did because they were going to nationals afterwards, or they did it before, or something.
I don't remember you assisting.
I don't know. There are so many assistants though that we talk about.
So many.
Like I just said, like they'll be like, "Yeah, remember that girl?" And I'm like, "No."
No.
And they're like, "Pull up a picture," and I'm like, obviously standing next to this. No idea who she
Well, I
is.
feel like assisting at that time too is you guys are in separate rooms potentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
there's not a whole lot of crossover a lot of the time.
But I guess to be fair, when we started, there weren't that many assistants. Like there was 3 or 4 a weekend.
For it every event because
Wow.
it'd be one
and
for
we
every
would
class.
all stay in the same hotel room.
Yeah.
4 people in one room.
Wow.
We'd all share the mirror getting ready. It was tight. It was rushed.
Michaela also was there.
Yes.
I used to room with
Because
Michaela.
my first city was it was one of my first cities. Me, Caitlin Allen, Michaela, and Hannah. It was Dallas.
I've roomed with all of them, but I used to room with Michaela mostly. Well, that's not a lie. When we first started, it was like the four of us, and I was with the Macheskis most of the time. But then as we went on, it would just be me and Michaela in a room because we were the ones that were like at most of the cities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started doing a couple, and then a couple years into it, then I was doing like more than half.
You must have done the ones I was never at. And that's why we didn't connect till later.
I didn't meet Alex until like 3 years ago.
She didn't start till like a year or two after me and Caitlin.
Yeah, like she didn't meet me, and then I was doing the like I got promoted to the event director thing, and she's like, "Who is this chick that's like gonna be in charge now?" She's like, "I've never met this girl," and we didn't meet till like halfway through the seasons.
Oh, that's funny.
Halfway through the season. Yeah.
But yeah, you must have
when
done...
we got close, I have no idea.
You
I
must
don't remember.
have done the... Because I think you maybe have been in it a year longer than I had. But
yeah, maybe.
But you always did the cities that I would never be at. Because I feel like there was a lot of y'all in like the Chicago area that went to those. Yeah. Versus
the Chicago,
I was
Michigan.
South, so I would do like Baton Rouge, Dallas, Houston. I'm trying to think of what else there was even back then. I did San Francisco a couple of times. I did Washington actually like quite a bit.
I did too. Yeah.
I think because it's just it was a weird time. Like people couldn't.
Because like peak. Yeah.
Peak competition. Yeah.
But when we got close, I don't know. It was just like we are now.
All of a sudden, do you remember like why you guys were like?
I feel like we're just on the same level.
It just was.
Yeah.
Oh, we talk the same, think the same.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're just very, not to toot our own horn, but like super high achieving people. Like we want to be the 1%. We don't want to be mediocre. Not saying that other people are mediocre, but I think it's like we see these things that are so big, we're not afraid to go for it versus thinking like safety or what makes sense.
And I don't think neither one of us were there to hang out.
Oh,
like,
we were
there
work.
for a job. We were like,
we wanted to climb the ladder.
Yeah, that I think it was like we were always the ones at the end of the night. Like we were the ones there. We would help clean up. Like we would be the ones to wrap everything up. Then we just continued that. We also always we became like the hip hop people. Yeah. So then we were also just assisting the same classes.
Yeah.
A lot.
I think we worked those events in a very like entrepreneurial mindset. Like this is my event that I'm running. Yeah. Not, oh, I work for these people that have this company.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of that leader mentality.
Yes.
Like I'm not here to just be an employee or be the part. I'm going to try to make this better, take work off of other people's plate.
Yes.
Be very helpful, do that sort of thing.
When in reality, boundaries are great.
But I feel like it helped us
learn a lot.
I think we got different opportunities because of it. And because then we became close. Now we're like, well, we're going to try to achieve these things together. And we have more of the ability to move the needle because there's two of us suggesting these things. And it was like we were assisting the same classes. So I think we're also experiencing the same kind of teachers too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we became like the hip hop people. Yeah.
And you guys are like, oh, we're like each other. So the conversations you're having, you're both coming from the same point of view, and you like what you're talking about. It's like encouraging, and
I think even that personality-wise, we're very similar. But then also even with that of how we assist, our mindsets were similar. Even how we like train, like people there with the style or like even hip hop. It wasn't like she has the mindset that I would like or what I am like trying to promote.
Well,
in the
I was
class,
like
it's
trained in a hip hop studio.
Yeah. Yeah. So like even the way that you danced was similar to mine. So then when we're in the room together, it was like, oh yeah, we're kind of like on a different, not like a better wavelength. It was just like we're the same wavelength.
Yeah, it's a good pair. You're a good pair. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't remember when that happened. And then it just happened to be like we both started going to all the cities.
And then we started rooming together, and then it's like sometimes we didn't get to, and that sucked.
But then we just finagled the system. Eventually, we just always did. Yeah. And then they would just start putting us together. But even that's like you think of for how during that season, which it's short but it's so compact. I was with her 4 days out of the week.
Oh.
Well, that's what I've experienced the first year in it. It's so tight and compact and intense that you're making friends and getting to know each other so aggressively.
Yes.
That like, and then now we're in the off season and you don't talk to any of the people. You don't hear from them. You don't whatever. But it's fine. It's normal. And then you go back and it's back to the intensity and back to
crazy.
This is my crew. These are my people.
Yes.
And I think rooming with someone, that's hard to not experience that. Because like you see how they live. You see how they sleep. You see like, I don't know, that close contact.
You like it 4 degrees in the room and you like it 95.
And I'll just tell her, put on more clothes.
Yeah.
Do you still have that alarm?
Did you hear the alarms this morning?
No.
You should hear her alarm.
I am such a deep sleeper.
Well, when you said last night, like,
what?
Just come wake me up. I'm like, okay, you're going to hear the alarms for sure.
No.
She was so sweet too. She grabs my shoulder and goes, come on.
I know. I was waiting for.
No, she's going to be such a good mom because she's so good like that.
I told you like, because like, just wait till you hear how Abby sleeps. But I didn't hear you at all.
How do I sleep?
You.
Like you're fighting somebody?
Yes. Yes. You know, I've told you this before. Like the way that you move around, it's like you're fighting someone in the bed. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to quickly just shift to the side. You're like, you fling the covers up and then like quickly, like it's like the game of jacks.
You drop the ball and gotta grab them.
Yeah, it's like you fling the covers up and like quickly move underneath them before they land back on top of you.
I think that's changed because living with
sleep
Steven.
with someone.
Yep. I can't. Like I can't do that. Like he would like not sleep in the bed with me.
Oh, it's wild.
But I also think I did that so much because I was so inconsistent with my life.
Like, so you're just like frantic.
My workouts not consistent. My nutrition not consistent. My sleep, especially at those events, not consistent. So it was like fighting to get into a comfortable sleep state. And now I lay my head on the pillow at night and I'm just like, yeah. Doesn't take much. I could sleep on the hardwood floor.
That's good.
You know,
you can tell the pattern is changed.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, I mean, because when you get out to go to the bathroom and come back in, but I was like, she is jumping from across the room to get back in
running
bed.
To jump into the bed.
I don't know how she is propelling herself back into. It was like you would just stand up here and just like fall in. Like the amount of sound and like crazy ruckus. I'm like, what is happening? And then her alarm.
Oh, I don't have my phone's
like
recording.
Firefighter siren.
It's that song. I know what you came here to see. It's that
How
going down
can you
for
wake
real.
Up to that?
4 a.m. and it's just like a full on.
Just a drum solo. That is crazy.
It's not that anymore. It's just a normal old alarm now. Oh my God. People keep telling me to get the Hatch alarm clock
where it lights up,
glows up.
Yeah.
You wouldn't wake up.
What?
You wouldn't wake up.
Yeah, exactly. But also,
you need it to glow and then just start playing death metal.
Yes, but
how can you wake up like that?
I get up. Oh, because it's like I have no choice.
It was terrifying.
I would be pissed immediately. Yep. I need what she does. I need like, here we go.
Well, because
we're starting to get into
morning,
the day.
Every morning she's like, oh, fuck, I don't want to get up.
But you're pretty calm in the morning.
Yeah. As long as you don't ask me a bunch of questions. Oh, God. If we get up and you're like, what do you want to do today? What are you going to have to drink? Oh, are you having a coffee? I would.
Hey. Same.
Yeah.
I can't.
Don't come at me.
Like, I need an hour of just.
Yes.
I get up, I have my coffee, I read, I journal on most days. Now, the days I get up to teach at like 5:30, well, I get up at 4:15. I'm in and out the door in 15 minutes. I do not get up and read and have a coffee at 4:15 a.m. because I'm like, nah, that can wait till later in the day.
Yes.
It's fine.
Yes.
Twice a week.
Are you a quick starter or are you gain the energy? And because I'm like, I got to get up and do the stuff I need to do within. Like I want to be done at 3:00. At 3:00, I'm going downhill.
Oh yeah. I would much rather like put my workload earlier in the day.
To where I feel like you are, and it's probably because of the dance stuff. you are like still high level later in the day.
Yeah.
I think for me, the running has also affected that because it's so hot. If I wait to run till 9 a.m. and I don't run at 6 a.m., then, I mean, I got heat exhaustion. I can't run 10 miles at 9 a.m. in the summer heat. It's like 80, 95 degrees, 100 degrees outside. So starting my day earlier, even on the days I don't teach early. Now, the days I teach early, it's great because I knock out 3 classes by 8:30 a.m. I come home. Well, sometimes I have to stay and work down in Houston, but I'll come home, get my lift in, and then it's like 10:30 a.m. and I've worked for 3 hours, gotten a workout in, and then it's like I can do whatever the rest of the day.
Yeah, that's how I want
so
that.
much better that way. But I will say, like, I consistently go to bed at the same time every night. Like, we are so on it. 10:15 in bed, going to sleep, lights off. But my wake up time varies. And so if I'm going to consistently get up at 5 or 4:15 or whatever, I don't think I'd ever consistently get up at 4:15 unless I like had to for some reason. I feel like 5:36 is a good early wake up versus 4:15.
Yeah.
4:15, it's like the middle of the night, especially when daylight savings. It's like I teach 2 classes in the dark. I'm like, we may as well be midnight right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking the difference of 6 hours of sleep versus 8.
Right. And so if I consistently will get up, I need to shift my go to bed time a little bit earlier. But it kind of averages out because then some days I'll get up at 7. But most of the time I get up by 7, I would say. Unless maybe a weekend I sleep a little bit later. All that to say, I like to be done with things in the morning.
Yeah.
Like I cannot work out in the afternoon. Oh, I try and go to the gym in the afternoon. Hate it.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
And Steven loves it. I mean, like, he loves to shut work down, go to the gym, decompress, get his lift in, come home, eat dinner. And I'm like, I have no energy for that. But our jobs are very different.
Yeah, and it's probably just the routines that you've each have gotten into.
Totally.
That this is what's normal.
Totally. And he likes to sleep a little bit longer in the morning, like have a coffee, a slower morning versus get up, go work out, although he has been doing that more lately. I don't know.
I would have to be either one or the other. I like starting the morning fast, or not fast, but like I would like to do that, like getting all the stuff done right away and then have the rest of the evening.
Oh, yeah. It's so nice.
Or doing it like that, like an after work situation. The middle of the day, I don't like doing that, but I think it is because of dance. I was used to sitting down at school all day and then going to dance and having to be the most like production happening at the end of the day, to where still with teaching.
I think when I lived alone, I did more of that because I would teach in the evening.
Yeah.
But we are pretty consistent with like make dinner, watch a show, hang out at night.
Yep.
Pretty much every night, unless he goes to the gym, which he's been getting up going early in the morning, like early as in gets up at like 5:36.
That's early.
It's early for him. But for me, I'm like, oh, if I got up at 4:15, that's not early.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like, but yeah, most of the time we're really consistent with our nightly routine together. That
yeah, we are too.
I don't ever typically work in the evening unless it's like some event I have to do, or I have to be down in Houston for something, or whatever. And I prefer it that way. Like I think winding, like being able to just put my phone away, shut down everything, and like focus on like being at home with my partner is good.
Yeah, I mean, once we start dinner, it's done.
Yeah.
Dinner. Once we get back from the walk, I'm done.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, which is like what time-ish?
We get back probably at 5. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
But
it's like
that's even
dinner,
that, like,
sitting down.
Going for the walk is usually at 4, 3:30, 4 o'clock. And that's not, to me, that is kind of winding down in a way. But
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not working. We're not like doing.
Go get the
most of the
afternoon
days.
walk, and then it's come back and everything's winded down.
We used to do more walks like that, but because I've been running so much, I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to.
You don't need any more of it.
I'm
Yeah,
fine.
you don't need more outside time.
I got
either.
40,000 steps on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, you literally spent 4 hours outside.
I know.
You don't need to do a stroll.
Like, I don't know if I can walk. Let's be real.
Did you go from dance like right into Pilates, or when did you start getting into the other exercising stuff?
So I was dancing at this studio called So Real in Houston, and that's what brought me to Houston. So I was training there in high school when I lived in Georgetown.
In Austin.
Yes. So I would drive 3 hours every weekend to go train at this place.
Wow.
It was
Stay
like
with a friend.
like a hip hop.
It was like
Yeah.
an urban, it's called like an urban choreography studio. But yeah, it was a hip hop studio. And I learned so much there. Like, I'm so glad I got that training because it fully changed the way that I danced. Or the way that I still dance and like think about creating, you know. But I moved to Houston, started going to U of H, kept dancing there. Eventually I quit because it was just so much. Our rehearsals would start at 9 or 10 p.m. because people had work. These were all adults. These weren't kids. And they would go till like midnight, 1 a.m. I had school the next morning at 8. Like, I mean, I was balancing so many things and it was just not. And then it's like the other nights I was a freshman in college. I wanted to go party. So then every night I'm out till 2 a.m., whether it be dance practice or fun, not getting sleep.
And then it's like, for what? You're not pursuing dance anymore.
Well, and my schooling is just going down the drain, you know, for no reason. And so I quit that, and I didn't work or dance for a while. We had Pelotons in my apartment gym, so I'd do a lot of that. Just kind of like work out on my own, whatever. And then my roommates and I found this hit studio gym, like a running weights kind of place. It's called Empower Fitness Lab. It was super cool. It was like black lights. It was a fun workout class, you know what I mean? And that's where they had the curved treadmills. That's the first time I ever used those, which I loved because sprinting, loved. I was always super quick, not long distance, but like quick running I enjoyed. And that's where I really started getting into like the Houston fitness space. Oh, I guess take it back a year. I would go to this yoga studio my freshman year of college, like every day, because it was donation based. So you could give like $3 for class.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Granted, they suggested it's like 5 to 10, but I was like, I'm going every day. Like, I'll give you $3 to $5 every single day. You know what I mean? And that was nice because it was like a decompressing, like stress reliever from all the other things or whatever. And but then I stopped going to yoga. I don't remember why. And then found the HIIT studio. Started going there. Met one of the trainers there. Was talking to her. Kind of became friends with her. She taught at Boost, the Pilates studio. So I went and took her class. And at the time they had like a intro to free class offer. And my second class, the owner was in the room, Nathan. And after class, I was talking to the instructor about like teaching dance and whatever. And I was like, yeah, I really enjoyed this. This is fun. No intention of working there. Like, no intention. Just, this is cool, you know? Very humbling, very challenging. And he goes, oh, well, you want to work here? And I was like, I've taken 2 classes. I don't even know what the springs are. Like, what? Are you sure? He was like, oh, yeah, I'll put some classes on your account. We'll circle back in a couple weeks. Like, you're great. And I remember going home to my roommates. I was teaching at the Audi International School. I was teaching pre-K dance there. And I was teaching at another studio down in, like, South Houston. Super overloaded with my plate. Typical, right? Like, I mean, just keep adding to it. And I remember going home to my roommates and telling one of them, I got another job, you guys. I'm gonna work at this studio. And I remember one of them looking at me, no, you're not. No, you're not. You have way too much going on. And I was like, no, like this is the next thing. I've got to do it. And they were like, you've got to drop something off your plate then. And I was like, nope, I think I can do it all. And so, you know, typical me, go for it. And I remember I had no idea what I was doing. We had like 1 weekend of training. I took 45 classes in 30 days. So I could get like a crash course on Pilates. And yeah, and then I had a weekend of training. I created a routine. I taught it to my friends and family one time, and then they put me on the schedule. And I was like, no one's going to take my class. I'm just turned 19 years old. I look like I don't do fitness. I don't know what I'm talking about. Haven't even been a client here. No one knows who I am. Because most of our instructors come from our client base. And I just was like, but they said I could, so here I am. Good pay for a 19-year-old, you know? And I'm so glad I did because down the path.
So you haven't had really any gap in exercise or health or anything. Like you've just always kind of done something to
Yep.
exercise or be healthy.
Yep. And I guess throughout that time, after teaching at Boost for a little bit, the girl that I'd connected with from the HIIT studio to Boost, she worked with a personal trainer also, like went and worked out with a personal trainer. And I started going to see him. And that's when I got into like weightlifting. Because that was the first time I ever like picked up dumbbells in my life.
And that was the trainer in the garage.
Yes. Which he has his own gym now. So that's pretty cool. It wasn't a garage. It was like a mini warehouse.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. But I worked with him for a while. And then actually later down the line, I started working with his athletes on the Reformer, doing Pilates with them. So that was really cool. And I still occasionally do. He'll message me about like getting a group of football guys in. But yeah.
Do you think it's because of your dad that you just have always exercised and whatever? Because most people don't just continue to exercise and be in it, like even all the different things that you've done.
Yeah.
People will they'll stop doing dance. They'll stop doing the sports they did in high school,
Right.
the activity they did in high school, and then it's just like, oh, I'm working and doing whatever.
I think I'm afraid of quitting. I'm so afraid of quitting anything in life. Like, I don't want to be a quitter. So I think for me, it was like, let me fill the gap of dance with something else.
It has to be active and
Something. Yeah. Because I don't want to feel like I ended that.
Were you
That's so deep, but I think that's truly what it is.
Were you seeing dancing as your activity? So then you're like, well, I have to replace activity? Or was it just like, I have to replace an item in my day or my schedule?
I think
Like, is the
activity, I
quitting-
think enjoyment, like hobby, that was my like hobby.
Okay.
And I think it's funny because a lot of people are like, well, what do you do for fun? And like, I work out. Like, I genuinely love working out. And I think that some people are like, that's not your hobby. And it's like, no, it definitely is. Like, I go run for fun. Yeah, I'm training for a marathon right now, but like, I'm going to continue that for fun more so than for the benefits of it. Like,
Sure. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Also, you don't run that many miles a week, like, just to do it. You've got to enjoy it.
Or have a goal that you're willing to just push for.
Yeah, because it's like, if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to do it for that long.
Sure.
It's a very long form of exercise.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Or not enough to be like, after I'm going to keep doing it.
Right.
I can see people pushing for it just because of the goal.
Yeah.
But then to not have any plan of keeping up with it.
But yeah, I think my parents, I mean, growing up, we were in all kinds of sports. We water skied. My mom did triathlons when I was a kid. My dad's always been just super into health and wellness. And yeah, my brother did all kinds of sports. I quit sports when I was in 8th grade to do dance only. And
You lasted that, like, you did other stuff for that long?
I was playing like club basketball. When you say I wasn't good at basketball.
yeah,
Club
I just
basketball.
don't believe it.
Yeah, well, you can ask my mom. She's my biggest fan.
Yeah.
No, she was so upset that I quit. She would go to my friends' games. Like, I wouldn't be playing. She would still go.
Just be like, oh, I wish Abby was here.
Yeah, because she's like, I can't yell at a dance competition like I can at a basketball game.
Was she still, I guess, like, because I feel like she's really into youth dance. Is it just like whatever you were doing she likes?
Yeah, I think she probably had bigger dreams for herself with like dance or sports.
Sure.
And she grew up in such a small town. Like, her graduating class was like 50 people.
Oh, sure.
You know, and then she went to UT. So like a big change, right? Where she was the star, probably athlete in her high school, right?
Yeah.
But then she goes to UT and it's a huge group of people. It's like, who am I? You know, I'm not that person, whatever. But I think she just like loves sports. I mean, to this day, like, she'll just turn on sports and get into it. Like, stand up and yell at the TV kind of thing. Like, very into, I mean, Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night, Friday night, football on the TV. Like,
And because of her, not your dad.
And like I knew the song that Carrie Underwood would sing. I would like walk out, do my little dance in front of the TV to that song with my little Dallas Cowboy cheerleader outfit on. And I was like, I'm gonna give y'all a show because I don't care about the football. It's like 7 years old. Yeah, but I think that, and I mean, I don't know. They just always like raised us to enjoy movement, I guess.
Yeah,
That
well,
was
I think
just always such a standard part of our like I mean, they would go on these crazy long bike rides and they'd have me and the little like kid bike behind them that would like kind of pull me, but I would also be biking at the same time, like from a very young age. That was our family thing. We'd go on walks, or we'd go on bike rides, or we'd go water skiing, or we'd go snow skiing. Yeah, like it was always something activity based. It was never like, we rarely ever would just like go to the movies or like go to dinner. That like we never ate out. Like that was not our family time. Our family time was like, we're gonna go do an activity together.
Yeah.
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 Which I guess I'm really grateful for, because it has like kind of empowered me to keep going in fitness when a lot of college students just don't.
Well, it's something that you didn't really have to search out, or like, is this something that I should care about?
Yeah.
It's like your baseline is so much higher than most people's
Yes.
regular, that you're like, well, why would I not be finding something active? And to where they have related it to fun things.
Yeah.
To where it's like, it's not just, well, we just go and work out and that's what we do. Like, you go on walks, you go on vacations that involve activity.
Yeah.
That you are searching out fun within activity. Not, well, I'm just going to work out and I'm going to do it in this way because that's what.
Yeah. And when I think about my parents now, I mean, even all their vacations they go on, I mean, they're going on hikes, they're going to all these different national parks. Like, that's what they want to go do. They don't want to.
They're not going to go to a beach and just lay down.
No.
Yeah.
They'll go walk along the beach. But, like, they're not chill people. Like I said, they do yard work for fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. I think there's exceptions to that, but it's like, if you want your kids to be active, the parent should be active.
Oh, yeah. And they're great examples
like,
of that, too.
That's probably why you've continued to do it and now are making a career out of it.
Oh, for sure.
So it's like, this is just what I did growing up.
Yeah.
It's the monkey see, monkey do.
Mm-hmm.
You do what your parents did, or it's like you hardly listen to what they say. You do what they were doing. And if they're leading by example, of course you're going to get into that and be doing that.
Yeah.
There's obviously people that are maybe grow up in it and it's too intense, or they make it too crazy, that then they're like, I don't want to be any part of exercise or health or whatever because it was pushed on me so much. But I mean, you look at the opposite end of the spectrum of families or parents that don't do anything and they only eat out, they only get fast food, and they do that sort of stuff. It's like, that's what the kids end up doing.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that, or they don't just, it's not a part of their life.
Right.
So they have to introduce it to themselves in order for it to become something towards like, it was just your life.
Totally.
The whole time.
Yeah.
And now you just take the torch and you continue to go.
Right.
That's,
well, and then you can see it too as they're getting older, the discrepancy with other people their age.
Oh, for sure.
So it's like, oh, okay, not only does that help when they're younger and they're raising you, but then it also affects you. But then you can see, okay, if I stick with this, I can look like that when I'm that old. I can feel like that. It's like you saying your dad's testosterone for how high it was.
Yeah.
It's like, that's
crazy.
That's not random. Like, that is something that has been built over decades of time of just staying consistent and not in anything crazy. Like,
no,
they're not doing anything.
Like, he doesn't lift a crazy amount of weight. He doesn't run a crazy number of miles. He just is consistent.
Yeah.
Like, so crazy how simple it is. And if you're listening, consistency. It's literally the key to fitness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just have to be consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
so much of it doesn't have to do with the intensity.
No.
It's just about keeping it consistent and continue to do it.
Literally. And, like, for him, he would, in the summer, he swims laps in the pool before work because it's too hot to run. And then in the colder months, he runs. And then he weight trains a couple times a week. And, like, I mean, he's got a basic, like, rack with, like, 3 pairs of dumbbells at home. He doesn't have a ton of equipment. And it just shows you, like, you can work out for a long period of time. Like, they've been in that house my whole life. So almost 24 years. And he hasn't updated the equipment. I mean, he didn't even have the equipment until probably 15 years ago, but still hasn't added anything to it. Just uses the same stuff.
Yep.
It's like, it literally is just consistency. He's never had a gym membership. Just works out at home. Opens up the garage, puts on some tunes.
Wow. Yeah.
That's where people get too in the weeds with it. They think they need the perfect program or perfect type of exercise, and
you don't.
No, it's just being active and just continuously being active.
And it's finding something that you enjoy. And I think that's where, like, my whole Move brand is kind of, that's like my goal, is I want people to find a way of movement that they can be consistent with and enjoy and get strong at the same time. Because, like, for me, I don't want to go do a bunch of HIIT classes. Like, I have no desire to go do that. You know, if I want to run, I'm going to run. If I want to lift, I'm going to lift. I don't need to put the two together.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I don't want to do Pilates. Like, sometimes I get really burnt out because if I'm doing Pilates all the time, I want to go lift heavy. I don't want to be in that same time under tension. You know what I mean? And I think that, like, changing it up, obviously, like, you get bored of certain things or whatever, but, like, you got to find the way that, like, you enjoy moving and just be consistent with it.
Well,
and then you'll find
have
the
that
next
be your
one.
have that be your base.
Yeah.
And then explore from there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
it totally
you
does.
start doing something that you like, and you start with that, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, let me try this other thing.
Yeah.
And then you start to like that, and then you get to the point where your dad is, where it's like he will do any of the stuff because it's all fun to him, because he just probably followed that. I like this, I'm going to start with this, and then, oh, I'm getting kind of bored. Oh, this is interesting now. Maybe I'll start riding bike.
Yeah.
And then I'll go do that. But again, I think people just get way too in the weeds of it of, well, I heard HIIT burns the most calories and also does this and does that. And it's like, yeah, but you hate it. So there's going to be no consistency. There's going to be no longevity in it.
Right.
So it's like, you like to go on walks. So just go do that.
Do that.
And then eventually you'll probably go, well, maybe I should lift a weight. And that's sounding interesting now. And then you start doing that, and then you get really into that.
Yep.
It's like, look at your journey with it too.
Oh, totally.
Dance to Pilates to you know, weightlifting. It's like,
it's crazy.
And that's the same thing that's happened with us too. The longer that we've been in it, the more we get into other stuff. I mean, I would have never done yoga 3 years ago, and and then for the last, I don't know, 6 months or so, it's like we've made yoga an every other day thing and had it in the routine of just this is what we want to do for exercise. So we'll do a little bit of that. I don't think I'll ever stop weightlifting.
Right.
But that's like my favorite thing. So I'll always keep that. Just like somebody's favorite thing might be running. So they'll always keep that in there. But then you start to just piece these other things together, and it's...
Well, when you have your baseline...
I was going to say,
your
your foundation...
overall healthier and more willing to where if you just have a baseline of, well, our baseline is probably more lifting. That may change how we program that, and we might do different styles of that. We haven't been lifting the same for forever. Mm-hmm. But then you can then have your dad where it's like, okay, well, now my daughter wants to do a marathon. Okay. I can do that with you. Oh, you want to do this thing? Oh, I can do that too.
Yeah.
We want to go on a vacation. The whole vacation is just walking around. Okay, we can do that. Like, when you have a base, it allows you more opportunities to try other things and to explore other styles of fitness. And that's where I think it becomes fun, because you have so many other opportunities to take advantage of, because your baseline allows you to feel semi-comfortable in almost any of them.
Yeah.
Or enough to know, well, I figured that out. Like, I'll probably figure this out.
It's experience-based confidence.
Yeah.
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 It's so true.
Yeah.
It's like anything. It's like if you, I don't know, if you go through like a cut and you get super lean, and then maybe, you know, you kind of let yourself go a little bit, you forget about it, whatever. You know exactly how to do it. You've did it before.
Right.
Like, all you got to do is just do it again.
Yep.
Same with like training for a marathon. Say I stop running altogether after this marathon. Well, I did it once. I know how to train for it. Just got to do it again. Like, there's no question on it if I can. It's just do it.
Yeah,
versus
just do the things.
You don't need to figure out how. You already know how.
And more likely, you'll probably also do it better.
Right.
Because you've had the experience of, when I cut that last time, like, I came out of it way too quick.
Yeah.
Or I cut it way too harsh, so then I got kind of funky with it, or my body started to break down. And then you can adapt and do it better and better every time.
Same thing with like cooking. You know?
Yeah.
You make something one way, you're like, that was really good. You try and adjust it the next time, you're like, that wasn't as good. Let's go back to the way we did it the first time. You know, it's just trial and error.
That's why I think you have to start with what you like, because
Yes.
you're just going to naturally go, well, let me see if I do this little thing, or I'm going to look up more stuff or listen to more stuff. If
Yeah.
you're starting with something that you don't like to begin with, you're going to have no energy or want to put any effort into figuring it out. Because like that's so much of it is figuring out the best ways to do things. So it's start with what you kind of like.
I think that's why I fell in love with lifting how I did, or then when every time we go back to a bodybuilding style program, I get that like, ooh, this is so fun again, because that's what I started with.
Yeah.
And it was, and I talked about this in the last episode, but I used the same mindset that I did with dance, and why I liked dance. I liked dance because you could like really dive into perfecting movement. And it's like, there is a right or wrong way to do it. There is a way to get better at it. There is like a never ending,
Yeah.
you can keep flourishing and growing in this. That then I took that to lifting. It's like, oh, there's a right or wrong way to do this. And like, there is such a like deep knowledge that you can get, that then you can manipulate how your body functions and moves and looks. Like
Yeah.
a thing that you have to have with you, and like you have that much control over it and power to be able to do with it what you want, and like see it's, that's another thing with dance, like you see your physical potential.
Yeah.
It's like that was the same thing with lifting, and lifting in this style of like, oh, I can change how I look by my knowledge and by how I do something. That's like, it's just so easy for me to like that then anytime we go back to that, I'm like, oh yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Like it's my favorite every single time that we go back to that, to where we'll try other styles of lifting, but there's something in that just tweaks me different.
Yeah, and I bet it's because you started with it.
Yeah.
You know, some people
Yeah.
just they have the same feeling with running. They have the same feeling with HIIT exercises, whatever it is. There's that inkling of this is interesting to me and I want to try it, and you go do that, and then you have that kind of nostalgic affinity for it. I think it's like that first timer type feeling.
Yeah.
Sure.
That
Yeah.
was me. I mean, I think I have that with the bodybuilding type stuff, but also the athletic type training, because the athletic type training is more what I started with, but then the bodybuilding thing was so much more on my own. I feel like my brother got me introduced to it, and like I was doing a lot of what he was doing, but then I started to just drift into like, I want to know every nook and cranny about this thing. And then it's like we just eventually were not working out together anymore. I was going on my own and that sort of thing, and it just continued. So I have it for both of those. Like we were just doing that athletic training program for a little while, and it was like, oh, this is tapping back into the like really young me of this is the stuff that I like. And then now we're going back to a little bit more bodybuilding type stuff, and it's like the same feeling. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I like this. It's the comfort thing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you start off with the thing, you learn so much about it, you branch away, and then when you come back to it, you're like, oh, this is like being at home. I know how to do all these moves. I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can get really specific with stuff. And yeah, I don't know. It's great. Like,
Yeah.
I totally get when people are like, I hate working out. I don't like it. It sucks or whatever. And I'm like, I get it. But it's so fun to me.
It's so fun.
And it's like, I just want to go, oh, but we could get you to have fun.
And it's kind of like what you said, like, we have to be with this body. Like,
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
not, like, move it? Like, enjoy it. Like, use it.
That's just like seeing what your potential is. There is such a superpower about I mean, that's what I
It's like
attribute
running.
most of any success that I have is from what you said, of that self-built confidence of, I know that I've done this before.
Right.
I know that I've been able to manipulate that before. I know that I've had the craziest schedule before, and I was able to still manage and do all that stuff. I don't need to do that, but I know that I can. So then
Yeah.
you transfer that into your body and fitness and eating in a certain way. It's like, oh, I know what feeling really good feels like, and being able to use your body as a tool.
Yep.
That's like, oh man, that's so cool that you have the ability to do that. Like
Yeah.
the control aspect in me loves that, but it's also, I think so many people feel so confused and hopeless when it comes to themselves.
I think
it's like, that is terrible.
I think a lot of people rely on motivation rather than just having discipline. And this is something that one of my clients told me when she was pregnant and coming to Pilates. She was like, you know, I just told myself, have the discipline to show up. And once I'm in the studio, decide how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling really, really bad this day, take it easy. If I'm feeling strong, push the springs, right? Push the movements, challenge myself. But having the discipline to just show up, even though it was a 5:30 a.m. class and I'm super pregnant, I'm just going to come. And if I have to lay on the damn machine or if I have to leave, I leave. But more times than not, she was like, I was capable of way more than I thought when I woke up in the morning.
Yes.
Because I just showed up.
Yep.
And like having just that discipline and making yourself show up and then deciding, okay, what do I have in me here? Or like starting to work out and you're like, this is not going how I planned. That's okay. Scale it back, whatever. Not every day is going to be perfect. But I think a lot of people rely on motivation, the perfect program, like something to go when they just need to go. Like, just go to the gym. Just go on the walk. Who cares if you walk for 30 seconds and you're like, not today. Don't love the weather. Go back inside. But it's like, just go. Start.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to have
Just
that
start.
non-negotiable.
Yes.
And then, like, exactly what you said of, let's see how I feel when I get there.
Yeah.
Rather than, like, trying to negotiate with yourself before you even go.
Right.
It's like, let me just go be at the gym or be wherever I need to be. And then I'll decide if I am going to push it. And sometimes it happens within the workout, too. You start warming up or you start to get into sets and you're like, I'm actually feeling fine. It was just that initial hump that I had to get over.
Head.
Yeah. It's all in the head. Because, I mean, look at what we just talked about with your dad.
Yeah.
It's not like he's doing the craziest stuff ever.
No.
He's just showing up every single day and being active and doing it. You don't have to go to the gym and bust your ass every single time.
No.
And that's where the program thing and getting in the weeds with all that, like, you'll show up and you're the most sore and whatever. And it's like, yeah, but the program says I got to do a max squat day. And it's like, no, just
listen to your body.
Yeah. Just you already won the battle of showing up.
Right.
Now just go through the motions and that's fine. And just,
Because then
It's
naturally there
all
will be a
about
day
that.
that you're like, I'm ready to crush it.
yeah. And you're there.
Yes.
You can't only wait for the days or only go the days that you feel like you have the most amount of energy or effort that you
can't
can
rely
put
on
to it.
motivation. You just can't.
It's never going to end up working out that way.
No.
You have to just go, I'm going to go and that's it.
Yep.
And then you figure it out as you go, as you're there.
Yeah, and sometimes you're like, yeah, today is not the day. Like,
Yeah, I never
Not-
found it.
I definitely realize I'm not working out. I'm going to sit here and stretch for 30 minutes because I'm here and I may as well do something, but like, not feeling it, you know? I've
Yeah.
had runs like that where I'm planning on going, I don't know, 6-7 miles, and I'm like, it's 4:00 in the afternoon, it's 100 degrees outside, and I'm just like, nope, I'm going to run the whole time. Walk half a mile, run half a mile, walk half a mile, run, just to like finish it because I'm like, I can't, my body's not going to perform. I'm going to throw up, and I don't need to throw up today,
Right.
you know?
And I wonder if the people that struggle with that or just struggle with being consistent, I wonder if they think that people who are exercising all the time just always have that
I think so.
energy and go for it every single day. And like, how do they do it? There's so many times I will go to work out and it's like, I don't have it today.
No.
I'm just going to go through the motions. I'm going to grab lighter weights or I'm going to walk slower or
And
whatever.
I think some people think then that's not worth it. That's not enough. Or like some people would do, well, I either need to do the run how I said I was going to do it or not at all. Like they don't have the trust in themselves of, yeah, but if I phone it in today, then maybe I'll phone it in tomorrow. And then maybe I'll keep phoning it in. And then maybe I'll just stop altogether. To where when you have the trust of like, no, I can take it easy and be smart and strategic about this, because then the next time tomorrow or whenever I have to run again, I'm going to do it how it's supposed to when I feel good.
Right.
Like having that trust, then it allows you to have more of the flexibility to be able to do that.
And I think something that's helped me with that is having like a deload week every like 6 to 7 weeks lifting. Because sometimes I'm like, why am I even doing this? Like it's 20% less weight, like the volume's less, just going through the motions basically. But then the next week I feel so good because I scaled back a little bit, you know? And it was weird to get used to that. Steven started me doing, or had me start doing deload weeks every, like almost 2 months ish. Because I was just pushing weight and just pushing and pushing and pushing. And like, I was so sore. I was so tired. Like, my lifts weren't going well. It's like, you should just put a deload week in every 6-ish weeks. And I did. And that helped me recognize, like, okay, this is actually going to help me get stronger if I pull back a little
well,
bit.
it's like when people do like a bulk or a cut.
Yeah.
And then you take a week and you reverse it.
Oh,
It's like it just revitalizes your soul.
it does.
But then it's like the adaptation of your body also responds.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I think you could probably even do it more frequently than 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Too, especially with how much you're doing.
Well, I'm not lifting a lot right now, but
Oh, true.
But even like this running program, it increases for the first probably week 1 through week 14, 15, something like that. It would be like long run, a little bit longer the next week, super long, and then scale back. And then longer, longest, scale back. And then until the taper, which now I'm on the taper where everything is scaling back until the marathon. But it's crazy because I'm like, oh, wow, like this definitely helps.
Yeah, because you're giving yourself variety.
Yeah.
Too. Like, I think everyone should be doing that especially when you're starting, like, because then you're not committing to something very extreme either. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go to work, but I know I'm going to have a day off.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, I can get through the 5 days of school because I know I'll have the weekend. If you just never know when the break is going to come, you're going to force it.
Yeah, that's overwhelming.
Yeah.
That's why people end up probably quitting a lot of the time too, and just they're done.
Yeah.
So it's like when you say deload week or scaling back, you're still going and doing
the same movements,
the
just
stuff, but
lighter weights, less reps.
It's lighter, it's less. You're not killing yourself over it.
Yeah.
Like you're still showing up and doing the stuff.
Totally.
There's a jiu-jitsu gym. I think they're in Costa Rica. They train every single day.
Oh.
But the fighters or whatever know if I don't have it today, like I'm just going to take it lighter.
Yeah.
But they train every single day and they have the best jiu-jitsu fighters out of any gym there is. And they train every single day, but
it's the ritual of it
it's
too.
all a scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the discipline of showing up every day and doing the thing. But it's some days they feel really good and they're gonna push it, and then other days they're like, nah, I don't have it. I'm gonna scale back and I'm gonna do a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
It's like but it's the showing up and doing it. It's the consistency of it.
Because I can take it lighter today because I'm gonna still be here.
Yeah.
It's like
Maybe
you said with the
tomorrow I'll have
coffee. What you said with the coffee. It's the ritual of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
To where if it's the ritual of just going to the gym, it's like you get to a point now where it's like it's weird if we don't go. Like we all at one point said when we were down there today, like, oh, this just feels right.
Oh,
like
I
we've
was
been sitting
craving
down.
movement.
It just we need to get it out.
Yeah.
That if we now have a day where we're not doing anything, our bodies start to feel off. Like we forgot something.
My digestion will be off.
Yep.
Like my sleep will be. I have a much harder time going to sleep if I don't work out. Like, just everything. And then I also like mentally feel anxious.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like physically will feel it.
Because like I haven't put out energy yet.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And even if that's like, we didn't even do that long of a lift today. It was like, what?
No.
Like 4 movements?
4 exercises, yeah.
Yeah. Like, still something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I think that's another misconception with that any type of exercise. Like, you have to do so much. You have to go on the 20-mile run. You have to do the 2-hour workout.
Right.
It's like, no, if you're doing it smart,
Yeah.
you don't need to do that much.
Right.
It's like, work smarter, not harder, more efficient and effective than just throw everything out there.
Right.
But I know athletes have the same mindset, but I think it's another reason why we connected and why I don't find this in many other people. I used to think it was maybe just like a female thing, but it's like, no. I think like dance gives you, at least the style that we were doing or like the programming that we were doing, like it just gives you a different way of thinking. Like even doing the episode with Sophia, and then like it's like it's like the athletes thing. Like they just think differently. We just think about things differently because from a young age you are bred to think that way.
Well, you're working for yourself from a very young age. Like, who wins in dance if you do a great solo? Who wins in dance if you get a scholarship? You.
Yeah.
It is so solo. It is a very solo sport. Yeah, who cares if you're on a dance team or whatever, if your group does super well, if your company wins nationals, awesome. But, like, at the end of the day, like,
You
you're
have to be a
typically
big
in
piece
it-
of that puzzle.
yeah, and, like, typically you're in it for yourself. Like, I mean, I definitely know people that were, like, in my dance company because they wanted friends or they wanted a community or they wanted that after-school activity.
Sure.
But that was never me. I was literally in it for myself. I wanted to move to LA, pursue commercial dance for me. You know, never did that. So glad I didn't do that.
Yeah.
But not just for other reasons. But it's such a solo sport. And, like, you only get out of it what you put into it. Versus, like, a team sport, you're relying on other people. You're relying on other people to pass you the ball, to make the shot, right? Like, you reap the rewards of the team. And, like, I guess you could say you kind of do in dance, but, like,
You
it
have
is
to be
much
just as good,
more-
if not better than everybody around you, though.
Yes. And it's so much more individual. And I think that's where you start thinking different because you're like, okay, how can I stand out in this class? How can I better my technique? How can I do this for me? Like, it's literally, you're never thinking, oh, how can I make my, leaps better for Sarah or Brooklyn?
Right.
You know, like, it's for you.
Yeah. Well, I think because you're taught, like, you have to hold your own.
Yes.
You have to hold your own. Otherwise, you're going to be put in a position that you don't like. You're going to be put in a group that you don't like. You're going to be put in a class that you don't like. You're going to be part of the company that you don't like.
Yep.
It's like you're fighting for yourself. You're defending your position
You
at
are.
all costs.
Yeah.
That even though it's for the betterment of the company or for the team, if you're on that, it's still like you got to work for your spot.
But I also think I stopped dancing on a company. I mean, I guess you could say I was on So Real, but that to me, that's like a different company in the sense because I was an adult.
You're the adults, yeah.
But I stopped dancing on like a company when I was a sophomore in high school, maybe. Like fairly early. Most people go all the way through their senior year.
Yeah.
You know? And so then that's when I started going to other studios on my own. I went to dance conventions on my own. Like, none of the other people I danced with wanted it as bad as I did. And I think when you're like that and you want it, you just, you move differently. You think differently. You pursue things differently. You network. Like, talking about networking. Like, networking from such a young age has helped us a lot.
Oh, yeah.
With just where we are now.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, like, how do you be a 16-year-old and talk to 30-year-olds in your class?
Right.
And, like, be relatable and, like, sound professional and, like, they want to be around you and not be a kid and be booked for jobs when you're working with all older people and you're going to clubs and bars and things that, like, yeah, I'm going to go to school tomorrow.
Right.
But you still have to show up and, like, look like you're normal.
Play the part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
But it's a different wavelength. Like, it's...
Yeah.
I'm sure it's the same with athletes, but athletes are even different in a different category on their own. Like, they are more resilient, but in a different way. Like, they're more physically, like, how do I say it? Like, I feel like athletes can endure more physical defeat and triumph and, like, being able to push themselves in that way. To where I don't think dancers are as good with that as we are. You had to be a business.
Yeah, like emotional.
To where I feel like kids in sports, they don't understand that it's they don't have to understand that it's a business until they're doing it professionally.
Yeah.
So, like, we were aware of the business side of it from the jump.
Our parents also paid a lot of money for us to dance.
Yeah.
So, like, you always knew in the back of your mind, this is not cheap.
Right.
You know?
Just, like, make it worth it for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Don't waste your opportunity that you're here for.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, we could have just played school sports our whole life.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Could have just done that.
Mm-hmm.
Not that that's cheap, but it's
cheaper. It's definitely cheaper.
Yeah. I think athletes too, like, whether collegiate or professional, like, you have to have a drive for the team. Like, you have to, like, want it for the team more than you want it for yourself. Because a lot of your success is riding on the team's success. You know, like, think about, like, football team. They win the Super Bowl. You're hearing about that team. You're not hearing about the quarterback over here who had all these stats that were so much better than, like, maybe one person. You know?
Sure.
But you almost have to want it for the team you're on more than you want it for yourself.
Because you can't win it. Like,
You
would
can't
agree
win it
with
by
that? Like,
yourself.
you can't win it by yourself.
No, you definitely can't. I think there's so much more sacrifice you have to do when it comes to a team sport than like what you guys had to go through with dance.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree with that.
You have to, you're going to have to do jobs that you don't want to do. You're going to have to, you know, play this position that maybe you don't want to play, or you want the ball every single snap, but that's not the best for the team.
The team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Like,
where saying, like,
yeah,
you want it
yeah.
more for the team than you do for yourself. Like, you have to take a step back and be like, it's not about me as an
It's
individual.
about our team winning.
Yes.
I
It's
think
win
that's
or
what's
lose.
weird is you're on so much of your own path to make it to the professional level, to make a career out of it and that sort of thing. And there's it's better if your team is more successful so that you get those opportunities to go, you know, play for a really good college team or go play professionally. So you're thinking about, or you want, like, I want to be the best one here, and I want to be the one that makes all the plays, gets all the ball, has the spotlight or whatever, so that I can continue to move up in this sport. But then at the same time, like, there's so many different, I'm sure it's the same with dance, but there's so many different attitudes and ideas with it, because
Yeah.
it's like, there's clearly professional athletes, you know, up and down, high school, college, pro, where it's, this person is all about themselves and they only care about if they play for a D1 school and they
Right.
go play professional, make a bunch of money. You know, there's a bunch of guys that will continue to take as much money as possible,
Right.
rather than, let me take a pay cut so that we can pay other players so that we can go try to win championships and Super Bowls and that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
like, there's the hardcore team guys of, I want to win a Super Bowl, so I'll take a pay cut. I'll have it not be all about me. I don't have to get the ball every play. And then there's the divas, where it's like, I need to be the highest paid person on the team.
Right.
I need to have the ball. I need to be in the spotlight. Like, I better be getting all the commercials and all this and all that. So it's kind of weird, because I feel like dance seems to be more, it's about you and building your own business and doing that, to where if you do that in professional, that's great for you, but then you're probably not getting a whole lot of team success, because you're not sacrificing, you're not giving to the team.
Yeah.
It's
different.
There's so much positive, I think, that comes from team sports, because you have to learn how to sacrifice and rely on others in order to have success. And I think when you grow up in life, you're probably not doing everything solo. But then there's these situations, and then there's, like, with dancers and it being so solo, you learn how to only have to rely on yourself and pave your own way and build your own thing, to where then I think the teamwork stuff is where
It's
it
hard.
gets tricky for you
Well,
guys.
and it's hard to lean on people because you've only ever leaned on yourself.
Yeah.
You
And if
haven't-
you lean on people, there's this thing like in the back of your mind of,
are they going to fail me?
are they going to fail me? Are they going to use me for something? Are they trying to get closer to me just to get past me?
Right.
Like, you're taught to be in competition with everyone around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Like, you're not really trying to build together. You're trying to be the best version of you so that the team looks good and is better, but you're not going to sacrifice yourself for the betterment of them.
No, because you're always fighting for the spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's always a top spot in dance.
And you are taught,
There's-
you are always replaceable.
Like, as horrible as it is, but dance moms, top of the pyramid. There's always a top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
Literally, like, there's every dance convention, every competition, there is a top number one, and, like, you want to be that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're like, if I work with this person, are they going to, you know, help build me up? And I think that's where, like, we worked so well together, because we both were like, okay, we have the same mindset with this event, with this company. Let's build together. Like, we could stay in our own lanes. We didn't have to worry about that. But if she needed help somewhere, I could do that. I need help somewhere.
Yeah. We definitely did that.
We were really able to lean on each other, which was so nice, because I think if we couldn't, we would have
clashed.
Well, we would have clashed, and like we would have gotten nothing done. I mean, think about everything that we just pick up last minute when we were, doing them together. You know what I mean? And like solving problems left and right, or, you're not down there and I'm working and something's going on, and then you have to come down and take over this person, and this person has to, like, it's just so, there's some things you just have to figure out working together. And I'm glad that it worked so well for us.
It was like kind of, to me, it's like a rock climbing thing.
Yeah.
Like, you would do this, and then I would be able to lean on you to get higher, and then you'd be able to lean on me to get a little bit higher.
Yes.
That's like, we were just constantly being able to do that,
but in a helpful way to each other, not in a I'm passing you up.
No,
Never.
It's like, I need this, so help me with this.
Yes.
So then we both can get this other thing, and then once we're over here, this is where you're gonna help with this, that we can both get over here.
Right.
But we just kind of built together using both of the tools that we naturally bring to the table.
Yeah.
I think that's the ideal pinnacle of team sports, is that's what the coaches are trying to tell the players and trying to get everybody on board to do. But that's just not, that's the whole, you got to buy in, to where people just don't buy in. It's like, well, I don't know if, when you're going into the next game and you're watching film and you're doing, the coaches are game planning and telling you, like, okay, this week, like, you're not going to get the ball much, because that's not the best case scenario for us to win. Mm-hmm. That's hard to hear as a player, where it's like, well, no, like, I want the ball. I feel like I am the best person with the ball. I should have it as much as possible. How is it me not having the ball is going to make us win?
Yeah.
To where you have to be able to trust that, and then not only trust that, but then also give your effort to do the shit that you don't want to do that week, so that someone else can get the spotlight and help you win the game, put you in the best position to win the game and do the stuff. And I think that's sports. I think that's jobs, careers.
Yeah.
It's like, you might be doing some of the grunt work this week, or a lot of the time, for the whole event to go as smoothly as possible. And if you don't do that, this ends up being a mess, a complete mess.
Right.
And it's like, you have to do the shit work.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like what we started this whole thing with like the Seattle event. Like, we were all, I'll take this so you don't have to do this. And then once I start to feel like shit, then I'll take over that class so that you can do the easier one. Like, I think when you're able to rely on them, but you can be someone to rely on.
Yeah.
I think that's another tool in your tool belt. And I think we utilized it really well in each other, of like, hey, I am not feeling this. Like, you got to watch my back a little bit more. And then vice versa. Or like, I do not want to come down to the door monitors. Can you please do that this week? Yeah. Like, next week is going to be crazy. I need you to like hang in there this week, and then I'll get you back.
Oh my gosh.
Like, and it is like, those weekends are so intense that you just get forced into those situations that it is
fight or flight.
Yeah.
Well,
But it's like, it's my first experience of working with someone. Like, working with, like, it almost is like kind of the first time working with a team.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and this is what, I mean, you can't, like, this is where it sucks too, when you ask for help and that person is like, no, sorry, I can't do that, or I don't want to do that. It's like, well, this is hurting the entire team now. And now the next time that you maybe want something, I'm going to be hesitant to do something for you. And that's where the poison is. That's like the immediate trickle down poison that happens. Mm-hmm. And this happens in teams all the time, but in jobs too, where it's like, somebody needs a sub for a class and they need somebody to help. Whoever ends up helping them is probably going to be the person that they are now buddies with and teammates with. And they're going to go, well, when I need help next time, I just filled in for you. When I need help next time, I might come to you.
Right.
And then hopefully you guys start to have that rapport. That's probably how you guys gain that rapport.
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
And then if you can get a whole company or a whole group of people working together doing that, I mean, you've got the best situation possible. But that just doesn't happen all the time, especially like the generation now where it's, well, what are you going to do for me?
Oh,
like,
it is
well, what do you
so.
mean?
I deserve this. I deserve
Yeah.
this. I deserve this. It's like, for what? Like, have you proved yourself at all? Like, why? Why should I, just give you this when you haven't stepped up to the plate at all?
That's why I don't like the dance culture of fight to the top, be at the top.
Yeah.
Because there's no, that's just not how
It's not life.
That's not how it ends up working.
Yeah.
No.
And then you have a bunch of people in jobs that are like, well, I'm not going to work. Hey, can you stay an extra hour so we can figure this stuff out? Well, no. It's like, I got to look out for me. Okay, you got to look out for you. That is so selfish, and that's going to get you nowhere.
Yeah.
And I
now
think-
nobody wants
Yep,
to work with
yep.
you.
I think for us, we stopped dancing before we ever got to that top spot. Like, we stopped caring about that before we got there. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like I didn't give a crap about winning first place, or like, I never got to that point.
No.
Maybe, yeah, I strived to like get a scholarship or be in the top-ish kind of group of people when I would go places, but like, I never was like, I'm gonna be number one. And I think because I never had that mentality, it allowed me to have that team mindset when it came to like working the events, because you had to. If you were in it for yourself, like, you weren't gonna last.
Yeah. Well, I think it allowed me to see the bigger picture of like, okay, what I'm learning can work if you use it in a different strategy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about like, it's like the same time that you stopped dancing at the company or dancing at your company, I then switched and danced at a company that was only 5 girls. And it wasn't a tradition. Like, our director was like, I don't give a shit about trophies. I don't give a shit about the work. Because he's like, I'm a judge. It's fake. He's like, I don't care what you get. Like, I care if the judges come up to me afterwards and say that they want to work with you, or say that they like want your guys' names and to book you for jobs. Like, that will add to something. Whether you get first or whatever. It's like, well, no, there's 5 of us. We're not bringing in any money. Why would you think that we're going to score well? Granted, we still did, but he's like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, there's some makeshift fake stuff behind the scenes always. Yeah. That then it allowed me to see, okay, well, it's not about winning at the competitions or being the best at any convention. Are you marketable? Are you like consistent with your branding? Are you showing up to these conventions and people know who you are and know who you are to a company and what we represent? Do you go to jobs and people like you? Like, don't care about getting first place at a silly competition. Are you 16 and working?
Right.
Like,
you saw the
that's
bigger
what matters.
picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it, like, are you likable? Are you fun to work with? Easy to work with? Do you do a good job? Do you show up on time? It's like that. This whole era of I'm a boss bitch, bad bitch attitude. Like, it's so stupid. It's so not longevity. Nobody wants to work with those people. This is what I tell the students all the time. The 5-year-old kids that are being mean and not being being friendly. And I'm like,
You won't have
I will
friends.
say to them, I'll go, if you keep doing this, you won't have friends.
Yeah.
And that is really not fun when you grow up if you don't have friends.
Yeah.
And you need to know that. So you see all these people on Instagram and YouTube and all this shit. And I mean, look at the political space now too. It's like everybody's so out for themselves and they think they're so cool. And it's all about this, I'm a tough macho, whatever. I don't need anybody. I don't blah,
Right.
blah, blah. It's like, okay, let's see how long that lasts for you, because people don't want to be around people that are not likable, not fun to be around, not approachable. People don't want to be in business with those people either.
No.
Well, and I was saying it's the same with group fitness. Like, I mean, you don't have to be the fittest instructor. You don't have to be ripped. You don't have to have the perfect cues. You don't have to have a certification. You don't have to have anything. If you're likable and people enjoy being around you, they are going to come to your class.
Because people will learn more from you as well.
Right. Whether your class is the best class or whether you know nothing compared to some of the other instructors or some of the other trainers. Like, if people like you and they're consistently coming to you and you're consistently showing up for them, that's more of a win than someone that's got this cert and this cert and this cert and this cert, and they know all these different things about your body, and you know, I mean, they could just talk your ear off about that, because it's like, you're not learning anything about that in an hour class.
Well, if you can't deliver the information in a approachable and digestible way, none of that matters.
Right.
If you can't deliver to people that they're going to be able to utilize, it doesn't. Okay.
Yeah.
Use the information then.
It's the rising tide lifts all ships. It's like, be the rising tide. Be the person that is trying to get everybody else to succeed and everybody else to do good, because everybody else is going to like you and want to help you and want to be around you, and you're going to have the networking and be able to make connections, and also just simply have a good workplace. You could be in a job where it's like, I'm going to be here for 30 years. I'm not going to do anything else. So do you want that 30 years to be shitty and not fun because you're selfish and you're putting out there like, I'm not helping anybody? So then now nobody's going to want to help you and be a part of what you're doing. Or do you want your next 30 years or however long to be, okay, I'm going to try to be a positive force in the workplace and helping people, and like, I'm going to lift all the ships so that this is a fun place and this is just such a better life.
Well, it's like you have one life to live.
Yeah, and it's not...
Enjoy it.
It's like, it looks fun to be the person on social media that's like, you know, and they said this, so I fucking said this to them. It's like, oh, you suck. Like, you're a bad person. It's like, nobody wants to be around you.
Also, if social media was just wiped away, that person wouldn't know what to do with himself.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Right. You know,
they just would be the shitty person that nobody wants to be around that doesn't have a social media.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like, those people don't last. Like, taking back to the dance thing of the kid that's always trying to reach for the top, and their parents are putting them in all these different environments to be seen and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, and then you work with them or you are in charge of them.
And they're a brat.
Yeah. And it's like, great, you're the most talented one here, but you don't know how to talk. You don't know how to sound professional. Like, you sound like a kid that never learned anything besides how to dance really well. Guess what? We can't use you.
Yeah.
So, like, your talent now goes down to minimal to no value to us.
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, well, we're with you for 4 days out of the week. We don't want you to bring down the whole crew. We don't want you to be a shit person. Like, you're here to be a part of this business. Again, like, what's your brand? What are you bringing to a table? You're a package. You're a tiny little package then.
Yeah.
Like, if you only bring one good thing,
right,
it's like, most of the time that one thing isn't going to be used, because you have to have everything. Otherwise, it's not, it decreases the value. It's like,
I think we got to bring back, like, just be likable. Just work on being likable. There's like, everybody now is, how can I be, it's not even how can I be unlikable. They're just, how can I be seen and get attention or whatever. And that's making you so unlikable. And then everybody bitches about, we're just such a weird country now. We're just this, we're just that. Everybody's so weird. It's like, yeah, because we're promoting being unlikable all the time.
That's all it is.
It's not fun.
No.
Like, nobody's having fun.
No.
I don't want to be around people that are not likable.
I mean, that is such, if I could give advice to kids, like, that is what it would be. Like, sure, work hard and try to be really excellent at the things that you're doing, but if you're not a good person, like, you're probably not going to get opportunities to even show how talented you are.
Yeah. Well, and it's also just like, nobody's going to remember the solo you performed. No one's going to remember the kick you did. No one's going to remember the program you wrote. No one's going to remember the fitness class you did. They're going to remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
Yep.
That is it.
Yep.
And that is like all scenarios of life. That's like, the other day when I was on my run, I say hi, good morning to everybody. I don't care if you have headphones in. I don't care if you're looking at the ground. I say hi, good morning, because some people just need it. And some people, they don't ever, people don't say hi to them.
And some people, that's the only community they may ever have all day long.
And how fun and cool is that to be like, we're out here together.
Right. And the amount of times that, like, people look up and be like, good morning, like, shocked.
Yeah.
That I said hi to them.
Yeah.
When we're, like, in a park together. I'm just like, can we be nicer humans? Mm-hmm. Like, it takes no effort. You're never going to feel worse by saying hi to someone. Like, unless you get an ego hit that they didn't say hi back. But that's when you got to just know, maybe they're super introverted. Maybe they didn't hear you. Maybe they're super deep into like a meditation. Who knows? But like, you're never going to lose out on being kind to somebody.
Well, it's like you have the integrity of, you know what, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be a good person, and that's all I can do.
Yeah.
It's like not everybody's going to reciprocate that.
And it's like, you do it for that purpose of like being kind to other people, but you get so much more back when you see someone just light up like, oh my God, I can't believe you said hi to me. Like,
how many times do I tell you, like, I love smiling at people.
Yeah.
Like, just knowing, like, oh, I got to show some sort of positivity towards somebody and just, like, to smile at them. Like, that feels so good.
It does.
When we go on the beach walk, there's one guy that we always wave to every single morning. And we wave to it in the same way. He's always staying in the same spot. And we were doing it for months. Like, same time every day, wave to the same guy. And one day he starts walking down the beach towards us. We're like, we've never been close to him. Like, we've just waved from a
Never
distance.
talked to him.
And he brought avocados. He's like, I see you guys every day, and I have an avocado tree, and I need to keep getting rid of them. And then it was like, we've gotten probably 20 plus avocados from him in the last couple months.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, you created a tiny little community. Like, you're building your community. You're appreciating someone that is in your town. We learned that he's from where we were from.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's like, he's in his maybe 60s.
Probably mid-60s, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, when would we ever come in contact with him or talk to him? It's like, but we're at the same place every single morning with this guy.
Yeah.
Why not? What does it do?
Literally, why not?
Yeah. And it's like, okay, now we got to talk to someone that was nice. He gave us avocados, which is nice. We got to learn a little bit about the avocados through him. Or like, he feels like, oh, there's someone that I get to say hi to every day. He's alone.
Yep. And sometimes it doesn't go that way. Like, I will say, there's this one woman that I go run. And I mean, she is walking her dog same time every day. And I say hi to her every time. And it's just always a never acknowledge me, never look at me. Like, clearly, like, don't. Because the first time I saw her, I said, wow, you have such a beautiful dog. And she just kind of looked at me like, I was like, okay. I still say hi, whatever.
Yep.
But maybe one day she'll come around. And even if she doesn't, you know deep down inside, it's like, that person acknowledged me. Maybe I'm just in so much sadness in my life that I can't outwardly appreciate it, but I do deep down.
Sure.
You know? Like, it feels good to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
No matter who you are. I don't care if you're the most introverted person ever. Like, it feels good to be acknowledged.
Yeah. And even if for her, if she's like, this chick keeps saying hi to me. It's like, okay, even if it's not about them.
Well, no, it's just a little.
You're practicing the person that you want to be.
Yes.
Right.
So, like, even if she hates it, that's okay. It's like, you're still doing something daily and regimented of, no, I want to say hi to people, so I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let one negative person get in my way of changing how I want to live.
Well, because it's so crazy how, like, after COVID, people don't say hi to each other. Like, you go to the grocery store, you don't say hi to people. Like, you're in your own lane. I mean, it is like, we're all in this shared space, but we can't acknowledge each other.
But we're not sharing anything.
No. It's just, we're all in the same place.
Yeah.
Living our own life. You know, and if someone cuts you off with their grocery cart, you glare at them or you say something, oh, I can't believe you did that, versus just, it's all good. We're here.
Yeah.
We're in a shared space. You know, but it's always, and same thing with like driving too, which I know you have a lot of thoughts on driving.
Texas drivers especially.
But it's just like,
just nobody is as good as me at driving.
That's fair.
So
I'm
it's
horrible at
just
driving.
a horrible.
Have you ever ridden with me in a car?
Yes. And
you drive like you used to sleep.
Yeah, it is fucking crazy how you drive. But to be fair, I've also ridden with another person who has lived in Texas and drove, and
that's just how they do.
He drove the same exact way you did,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a Texas thing. You guys are fucking psychos on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
we
crazy.
We moved from LA to Texas, and in Texas, we felt way safer in California.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Crazy.
Triple the amount of people on the road, crazier
6 lanes.
directions, and in Texas we're like, whoa, you gotta watch
You guys
out.
are wild.
Well, yeah, you know, the speed limit's 60. It's really 85.
Yeah, but it's not.
And it's like it's not even the speed. Like it's the
No, it's like-
speed, but it's the changing lanes. It's like
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
Stop!
You
Stop!
get-
Stop! Start!
Yeah, you guys are crazy.
Like you guys must change your brakes
Twice a
a
year.
dramatic amount of
Let's
times.
not talk about that.
And
Yeah.
yeah, you know that her car was shaking, and she was like,
Yes.
"I don't know, maybe I should go like check it out." Like
Yeah.
rattling.
Yeah.
It was like,
I don't know. Maybe I should go like get it
my
checked out.
dad was like, how did you not know this? And I was like, I just thought I did it.
I just thought it did it. I got
Steven's like, I can't listen to this part. Did y'all ever watch the Jewel documentary?
No,
Oh, it's kind of sad.
because there's a bunch of kids.
Yeah, and just like the way that like the CEO like knew what it did to people, but just kept pushing it, like
Oh,
because
yeah.
they could make money. You know?
Oh yeah.
It's like anything food now.
Oh
yeah. It's like they purposely are designing it for it to be addictive. Like that's the point. They want. Well, what is that like? For the healthcare system, like a sick kid is the most profitable thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like if you can get them sick young, and sick being like a chronic disease, like whether they can get diabetes young, or they can become obese, or they can have heart, like it's simple things. Like they know we'll be the most profitable off of them because we'll have the rest of their life of them being unhealthy. So if you can lock them in,
Yep.
the younger they are, the better.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Which is probably why all the vape companies and all these other companies market it to younger audiences, so they get them hooked on it. And I mean, it's like even the Zyn stuff or the nicotine thing. It's like a lot of it's younger-ish people
yeah.
that, well, it's not tobacco and it's not whatever. It's like, that stuff's gonna come out to be not good for you either, for sure.
Oh, totally.
It's just like the vape thing. It's all not good for you.
Yeah.
It's not real stuff. Well, it's like we were talking about the decaffeinated coffee.
Oh, yeah.
One of the ways that they would decaffeinate coffee was through benzene, which is now a known carcinogen.
Really?
So it's like,
So you're just adding that in to basically kill the caffeine?
yeah, it's a way to strip the caffeine out. And it's a known carcinogen. That's one of the methods that they use. It's slowly been filtered out because people know about it now,
Oh.
of that you're not supposed to do that. But, I mean, who knows? And even with the decaffeinated thing, it said in there between 1 and 20% caffeine is still in
Yeah.
decaf
I wonder if there's
coffee.
a way you could do it at home with your own beans, decaffeinating your coffee.
There was one method of using seawater, but then it messes the taste. Yeah.
Seawater. Then you gotta get seawater.
Yeah.
Where do you
And
get that? Go to the sea?
yeah. And how clean is seawater now?
How weird.
All the stuff.
That's weird.
Well, how do you even
How does
do
one
it? Just
figure that
soak
out?
them?
Yeah, you just soak it in seawater.
And that
Pulls
eliminates the caffeine?
Yeah. Takes the caffeine out of it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's just like all of that kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, just stay away from it. It's like, I mean,
Yeah.
That's like, do you really
It's
need your
a
coffee? Like
weird-
switch to tea or something.
Could you take I guess no, I'm dumb. I was thinking could you take coffee grounds, but it's still in the coffee grounds.
yeah.
It's not like the casing of the bean.
No.
No, it's like you're literally taking a element of
The bean
the
out.
piece of, yeah, in the bean.
Right.
It's like if you try to take an apple and it's like, we're going to get the sugar out of it. It's like, well, that's probably not going to be a very good method you're using to
Right.
chemically change this
Yeah.
living food. And then you're going to ingest it. Yeah. And that's our whole food system.
We're all screwed.
Yeah. Well, what do we say on the last one? As soon as they come out with sugarless apples, we're fucked.
Or like diet free or diet apples.
Yeah, diet apples. Like,
Sugar
we're
free
screwed.
apples, diet apples.
As soon as that happens, we're
What is it even made of at that point?
Exactly.
Water?
well, it's like the lab grown meat type thing.
That disgusts me.
It's like, yeah. 'cause
Yeah, it
that's
won't be
how
grown
it's
in the
supposed to
ground
be.
apples. It'll be like 3D
3D printed.
3D printer created apples.
I remember my apples in elementary school in the lunch line. They tasted so bad. They were like those really like, they taste like plastic.
Dull.
Just
like
dull.
weird red color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like. Just like terrible. And I remember one time there was this kid, sidebar. He would go through the lunch line like multiple times, take
Name
a bite
and
out.
address.
I actually don't remember his. Oh, I don't know his address, but I don't remember his last name. I think his first name was like Zach or Cole. It was one of those two. But he would take a bite out of the apple,
Hot guy for
put
sure.
it back. Another bite of another apple, put it back. But like bite facing in so that it was a stack of apples.
That's so funny.
And
That's
you
hilarious.
would go get an apple and there was a bite out of it and you're like, well, I'm not taking that one. You could get another. Oh, there's another bite. It's like, I guess I'm not eating a freaking apple today because there's a bite out of every single one.
I like this guy.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Elementary school lunch lines. Did y'all ever get lunch at school as a kid?
Nah. I mean, a couple times, but
I only did when it was
No.
something I wanted, like chicken nuggets, or I liked the pizza, and I liked the cheese sticks they had. It was like a bread stick with cheese in it.
Yes.
Those dunked in marinara.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
nostalgic.
Yeah, I
He's
was
like,
cold.
I'm disgusted.
Yeah, no. I was cold lunch only. I didn't do the hot lunch.
Cold lunch.
That's
Oh,
what we
like
called it.
brought-
Hot
you
lunch.
brought it.
Yeah, brought it.
Yeah, like his mom would make him
Well,
full meals.
Yeah, what would you eat for lunch as a kid?
Pretty much whatever was for dinner the night before.
Oh, wow.
Just leftovers.
So did you microwave it or just take it cold?
Microwaved it.
Y'all had microwaves at your school?
Mhm.
Yeah.
My school didn't have microwaves.
In high school. I don't think we did when we were younger.
Yeah, maybe not in middle school.
Oh, I'm talking elementary school. I got lunch.
Oh,
Middle school,
yeah.
high school, I did not buy lunch.
Yeah, okay,
I'd
yeah.
bring it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking elementary.
Yeah, elementary.
Yeah.
I don't think there was microwaves. They wouldn't let a
Yeah.
kindergartner go microwave his lunch.
I'm just imagining you.
Yeah, just waiting there. Can you imagine?
Can you please microwave my chicken and broccoli?
Yeah. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't remember in elementary what I was having. I remember one day, I mean, talk about like something happening to you and you remember it forever. I hate opening yogurts because I opened one and it just like spurt onto my shirt or whatever. And I was like, well, this is just,
Sucks.
I'm a kindergartner. I'm like, I got yogurt all over me. So it's like now anytime I open a yogurt, I'm opening it away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't mess with those.
I remember one time in, was it senior year? We were in, what was it, psych together? And we had Oreos or something that day. And you're like, I'm not having Oreos. Like it was something like you didn't want them in your teeth, but you like refused. You're like, I'm not doing Oreos.
Yeah.
And back then I thought it was just because of like health things. Like, cause you were so into that. Like I was like, oh, it must be because of his working out. Like
No,
that's
I don't
crazy. His discipline. Like he's
I
just
mean-
like, no, I'm not gonna do Oreos.
I mean, there's some of that where it's like, this isn't great, but then mostly it was, this shit gets so stuck in your teeth. I don't want to.
And I remember thinking, like, man, that's so adult of you to think that. Like, we're all just, like, eating Oreos. And you're like, I'm not going to
I
do that.
actually
That's
hated
stupid.
stuff in my teeth as a kid. I still do to this day. Like, I hate my mouth feeling dirty.
Grimy. Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just like, oh, that's so adult of you to do that.
What-
And how much water you drank. I always thought that was really adult.
Did you walk around with a gallon jug?
No, I had
Oh.
plastic water bottles.
Hmm.
I would just take one and refill it all day. I would try to get through one of them each period.
Mm.
Yeah.
What did you bring for lunch?
In high school, it was just, like, weird stuff. Like, it would either be leftover-y type of things. Like, if we got Chinese, I'd bring Chinese. If we got pizza, then I'd bring the pizza. But for, like, if I made lunch, it was terrible. It would be, like, a bowl of lettuce and, like, maybe a couple carrots or something, and then, like, French dressing.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'd have actually, I got into a phase where I was bringing these, like, healthier, like, almost like adult Lunchables. Where it had like little fruit strips in it and nut mix and hummus and weird stuff, but I would not eat a lot. Like for breakfast, I would eat cereal or eggs and carrots. And then lunch, I'd have like strands of lettuce. And then I'd be starving at the end of the day. And then before dance, I would eat Taco Bell. Or McDonald's. Like I would eat fast food every day. Maybe not every day, but we did not eat good.
Remember when we went and got Shamrock Shakes before going to the dance studio?
So, yes, that was one very nice thing that you did for me once.
Aww.
Because when it was senior year, he wanted to do privates with me because he learned that like ballet would help you with football. So after school, we went to,
Were y'all dating yet?
no, we were just friends. We both were dating other people.
Mm-hmm.
I was dancing 45 minutes away. So we would drive 45 minutes to the studio, and I would give him like 2 hour plus privates. Like, because it's like you're there and you're talking and you're like trying to explain stuff. Like, we would be there for forever. But one of the days I was like, oh, I want to get Shamrock Shakes before we go. And we went and they didn't have Shamrock Shakes. I
What's
was
a
like,
Shamrock
oh,
Shake?
Oh, you don't know Shamrock Shake from McDonald's?
oh, it's like only a March thing, but it's like a mint shake.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like a St. Patrick's Day thing
Yeah.
that they roll out.
We like never had McDonald's. Like we didn't eat. I was telling Steven this. Like
You didn't know.
the only time we ever got fast food was my brother would play football and we'd get those little coupon booklets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a free burger somewhere. Carl's Jr. For some reason, my mom would take us to get a free burger from Carl's Jr. Like a shitty burger. But that's like what I remember getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys.
Other than that, we'd go to
That's so
Sonic
good.
sometimes, get mozzarella sticks. But that was like,
That's a Texas thing.
but that was it. Like we wouldn't. Yeah, McDonald's like not a thing
That's good.
in our house.
That's good.
But that's why I don't know what Shamrock Shake is.
But yeah, it was like a mint shake, but we went to the drive-thru and they didn't have it, so then I got a chocolate shake. And then the next time that we went, when I got into the car, you had a Shamrock Shake for me.
Oh,
I don't remember that.
of course.
I thought we just went and got them.
No, you have it for me. You did some stuff like that every once in a while
I
when
was
we were friends.
mean 95% of the time, and then I'd have 5% times that I was
I can't see
Like-
you being mean.
nice.
Oh.
I was the bully.
He was a bully.
What?
Like, it was like
Yeah.
a joking bully, but like kind of not joking.
Were you just like sarcastic,
Yeah.
Yes, his humor was too
dry?
dark for everyone. So it's like he'd make fun of you, and we were like,
Are you
he
okay?
seems serious.
Yeah.
You were also like,
That was super cool.
it wasn't that you were necessarily like a bully, but it's like you were just pissy and then projected it on other people. Not projected it, but you were just like annoying to be around because you were just like, seemed like you were pissed all the time. And then he would like say something to you and you're like, Christ.
Mm.
But then it just seemed like, is he
I don't remember
joking
it
or
that way,
not?
but if that's how everybody felt, I guess. That's what
yeah,
happened.
you were just like a harsh person. But it
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
like, you weren't like, but it was never people that were below you.
No.
Like,
I
it's not like
wasn't.
he was making fun of, like,
Yeah.
you know, like people that you would make fun of. Like, you'd see in movies people make fun of.
No,
Oh, so
I was-
you
He's
make
not-
fun of people?
No.
I was trying to.
no.
I was trying to take down the popular people.
Right.
Yeah, it's
I
like
was trying to
people
make
that
sure
were
everybody
your
knew
friends.
you're not cool.
Yeah. People that were your
Right.
friends, you always want to know, like, but also, you're not as good as me.
Yeah, but also those
It's like
pants
you're
are
not
dumb.
special. That was your whole thing. Like,
Yes.
telling people like you're not special.
I just
And he was special.
well, and I think part of it was I wasn't going to bully or pick on somebody that I didn't think could kind of handle it. I wasn't gonna pick on, I don't know, the kids that are just trying to get by.
Right.
Like, I'm picking on my friends, and we went to a smaller high school, so it's like there's
Yeah.
260 people in our graduating class,
Oh wow. Yeah.
and I don't know. It's like that was also just that's how my family is. You just
Right.
pick on each other. So like I was just doing what my family does.
That's so funny. That's how Steven's family is too. I feel like they're just constantly giving each other shit.
Yeah.
And I have to be like, are we being serious?
Oh, I'm not good at it. I'm
Oh.
either serious or like I don't know how to joke that way.
You same. I'm learning, but it's weird because when you're not like that, it's like, whoa, did you just say that? Like, did you mean that?
I know, and I'm like,
You know?
I don't know how to say things without telling the truth. But I'm like, okay, you're joking, but like, is that something you actually think, and then that's where you came up with a joke? Like, am I supposed to come up with things that I actually think are bad, or
it's
do I?
supposed to be like
supposed to do other
so
stuff?
surface level, but we receive it so deep because we're like, what do you mean by that?
And I
When
think
to
I
them
only
it's just
think,
like, oh no, just messing around.
Right.
And we're like, oh, well, I didn't think you were, you know?
Right. I take everything like, okay, well, that means something then. And I don't think I look at people surfacely. So, like, I'm only observing broader things that I'm like, but I shouldn't make fun of that.
Right.
Like, it's too real. And it's like, that's not funny.
Yeah.
I don't know how to balance that. But yeah, you were just like too. I feel like for what high schoolers were saying and talking about and thinking were funny, that's not what you were doing.
Well, it was like we were teenagers.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, I don't know how to read a room. I was just trying to be funny every day. It's like I would do stuff in class that was just trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Funny guy. Steven was a funny guy. Everyone said.
You were funny,
Yeah.
but you were more the like. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, it's not like there's like a character in a movie that's like, oh, you were kind of like that. But like, you were so the sports kid that was like, he was there, but you weren't ever. You were so detached. Like, he wasn't like the other boys where it's like, yeah, like girls like him and he likes girls. It was like, you're a guy, but you're not something that is like within our ecosystem.
Well, I have 4 older siblings that went to the same exact schools, and it's not a running joke, but the kind of running joke is I went through high school 4 times before I went through high school. So it's like I already knew this was all bullshit.
Right.
Going through. So then when people were taking it so seriously, it was like, guys,
Now we're the silly ones.
you're being so stupid. Like,
Right.
Like, you
Right.
really care what he said about you?
Right.
like, this is dumb. Then it's like, why are you caring about that? And then I'd make more jokes about it. It's like, hey, remember when you cared about that guy saying that thing about you?
Yeah. Yeah, that is how it's almost like you were
It was a little pretentious. Like, it was
like
a
it
little
almost
bit,
seemed like you were older than us mentally with some stuff. So it was like, oh, he's like not attainable, because that sounds like you were so much better than us. But it was like, oh, we're not on the same.
He's out of your league.
Yeah, and
It's
it's
in
like,
a
I'm not even
different
going
way.
to school with you guys.
yeah, and it's not like, oh, because he's more mature or because he's doing better things. It's just like, oh, we don't think that way.
I'm not playing the same game you guys are.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's
Right.
why I ended up having certain friends that I had, because they were the same way. It's like, that's how Gavin was.
Yeah.
Gavin was like, this is not anything. This is all so stupid.
Very like old
we'd-
man way of thinking.
Yeah. And we'd have so many conversations about, like, this all is so dumb. Like, the drama that's going on and all that
Like
kind
the
of
thing
stuff.
that people get in hindsight, you guys were already understanding.
Yeah. We're like, this is so stupid. Why does anybody
Yeah.
care about this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I would just say that stuff out loud. And then Gavin would be like, I don't know.
You gotta
not
be more
say it out
discreet
loud.
about it.
Yeah. He'd be more discreet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just. I think bully is a harsh word, and it has that connotation
Yeah.
of like I was
It is.
picking
That's just
on
what I've
kids
always
that
said.
I shouldn't be picking on, but it was more so just like I was just kind of
Shouldn't care.
sassy to
Yeah.
people and trying to be funny at the same time. And I was a teenager trying to do that. So the
It just
skill
looks
level,
all weird. Yeah.
the skill level was
Right.
obviously wonderful, but no. Yeah.
Do you remember when you stopped talking to me for several months?
Yeah, and you deserved it.
Wow.
He
You wanna-
shut me out.
You want to play?
He shut me out. Like,
All
like,
right, everybody. We're now in couples counseling.
Like, he
Start
gave
the
me
tape?
this is when we were friends. He gave me the silent treatment for months. Like,
Yeah, 'cause you
for, like,
wanted to
I'm in
play
class
high
and I'm
school
like,
games.
seriously? And would not talk to me. Like, say a word. For months. Could you imagine?
She tries to give you the silent treatment, and you do something, and she's like, oh, fine. And just starts talking to you.
I mean,
She
you want to talk
can't.
about, like, stubborn. Like,
Oh, I'm
to
so stubborn.
hold that for that long.
That's crazy.
for
Well,
months.
it kind of has become like what this coffee thing is. It's just like I'm just gonna
keep going.
keep it. I was over it probably way after a week, but it was
Well,
like
because I was still
you were
spiraling.
making a big deal about it, so I was like, huh, let's torture a little.
Yeah. It was because I unfriended him on something. and it was right after his last football game. So instead of being there as a friend, I gotta create distance.
So she deserved it.
You're crazy.
And look where it brought us.
Well, and
If
in
I didn't
fairness,
do that,
Have you ever given each other silent treatment since then?
no.
not like that.
But like how long?
I don't think I've ever done it ever since then. I got it all out in that.
Yeah,
time.
he,
That's 7 months?
he did a lifetime of
Yeah.
silent treatment
Yeah.
to me.
We don't do the silent treatment.
No, we'll be pissy for a little bit, but I think someone always brings something up. But in my defense, I created distance because especially during that time in school, I was like starting to like him way too much. And it was like I was realizing it a lot. My boyfriend was catching on to it. So it was like, oh, I gotta stop this.
Yeah.
So I was like, abort everything. Like I have to erase this person as
Yeah.
much as I can. Because it was like, oh, this is getting
So I just gave you what you want.
It's getting way
and
too
then
crazy.
You got pissed about it.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Weird.
Have you not figured women out yet?
I have. I figured this one out.
Well, no, that's what sucks about it. It's so funny that we're talking about it. It's like so random and doesn't matter.
Nobody cares.
But yeah, no one cares.
Nobody cares.
What bothered me more about it wasn't the fact that there was distance. It was I felt bad that you were right. It was like, yeah, okay, I was liking you too much, but I should have, out of any moment, like, put it aside until after having a conversation with you about the game, after like talking with you, and at least try, even if you were like, I don't give a shit of talking about you, like to talk to you about this at all, which probably would have happened. It's like I could have at least been the friend and reached out and did that, and then
Yeah.
went, can't do this because I
Well,
like you too much.
And it's also, again, we're talking about being teenagers.
Right. Yeah.
Totally.
It's all stupid.
Do you think you and Steven would have connected if you both went to the same high school?
Do you know who he was in high school? Also, do you know who I was in high school? We don't need to get into all that, but I think in high school, he would have been the kind of guy I always secretly wanted to be with, but I never outwardly would go for.
Sure.
Because those guys were my friends, right? Like, I was close to them on a friend basis, but, like, they never saw me as a romantic option. I don't know why. Like, and maybe because I was never open to it. You know what I mean? Like, I would be, like, secretly having a crush on somebody, like Steven in high school, but I would never go for it. I would go for, like, a completely different kind of person.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Yeah.
but I always knew this is the kind of person I'm going to end up with.
Right. But he's not the obvious choice then. Like, then it's like you just go for pretty much the most attractive person you can find.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the kind person.
Yeah.
And, like, has a good personality.
I mean, I think Steven's pretty cute, but.
Sure. But it's like,
This is what happens all the time, though, is people get these identities.
Yes.
And whether they're even attractive or not anymore.
Yeah.
Like, say,
Yes.
freshman year
Yes.
or middle school, these are the hot people. You
They
have
just
that
stick with that.
identity the entire
Totally.
time. And that happens
Totally.
even when you're growing up. It's like,
Yeah.
you have one interaction with somebody, you're like, that guy's an asshole, I hate him. That's like,
yeah.
Totally.
that guy now forever will be that.
Yeah.
And you don't ever give them another
Yeah.
chance for anything.
Yeah. Whoever were the hot people in middle school, that they just stayed that way. Even if they ended up looking different. That's
Yeah.
what I think is so cool now.
It is so
Some of the
cool.
people in your grade that were like not that person at all, and now you see them
You're
and you're
like,
like, wait, you were
"Ooh."
like some girls that we went to school with, and now I'm like, you were like sneakily the hottest person ever.
Yeah.
We just didn't see you.
Yeah.
It's like the nerd that takes off their glasses.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, you just never took off your glasses.
Yeah.
You never blossomed yet.
Yeah.
Like, you were still a kid, and now it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, no one looked at you that way.
Yeah. I think the reason I also never would have gone for someone like Steven is because I didn't want a serious relationship then. And I knew if I would go for a guy like him, it would be that. It wouldn't be like
What you were doing.
That's kind of the same thing Sophia said. Of like,
He was too perfect. Tim was too
I
perfect.
knew if I would go be with that person, like I would be done.
Right.
Yes.
And it's not that I wanted to date around, but I just didn't want to get into that part of my life yet. Like, I wanted to do dance. I wanted to do Abby. I wanted to do my own thing. And then when I was ready to spend time with somebody, sure.
Yeah.
In the meantime, if I want to hang out with a boy, I hang out with a boy, you know?
Yeah.
But like I didn't want a relationship. Like, yeah, of course you're like, oh, I wish I had a boyfriend. You know, you go through that shit as a kid. But it's like, I didn't really want a boyfriend. You know? Like,
Right.
I didn't really want a relationship. I wanted a
Someone to
cute thing
hang out
look
with
at.
every once in a while.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think I'm glad I did that because, yeah, like I feel like my relationship with him is really special because it's like my only serious relationship I've ever had.
Yeah.
Do you think timing had anything to do with like you guys getting together, lasting, any of that, or?
He fully told me to go on dates with other people for the first like 4 months.
Yeah.
Like it was not a mutual like let's date. But I sat back and was like, you know what? We're good. We can chill. I don't need to be in a relationship right this second. Like if you just want to hang out as friends, cool. I enjoy who you are as a person. We enjoy similar things. You're fun. You're funny. Like, cool. I was total cool girl.
Yeah.
Total cool girl.
And then went.
But I mean,
Then you went, wait. Well, and even that, you have never practiced those emotions before.
No.
You have never had to feel something like that and then go, I can't just leave for the next person.
right.
Like, you can't just ditch out when it gets difficult.
Yeah.
Or, like, when they don't want to be with you as much, you're like, well, that's okay. I got this guy over here.
right.
You're like, no, I want this to work.
right.
So now all of those uncool girl emotions come up.
Yes. And I think like his timing, he had just gotten out of a relationship, very traumatic, messed him up, right? So he was like, I don't have the capacity to be in a relationship. Also, he was thinking, this girl's 21. She's younger than my youngest sibling. He's the oldest of 4. Why would I date this girl? Like,
Yeah.
this doesn't make sense, you know? And then the more he got to know me, he was like, oh, yeah.
Because
okay.
I'm sure from his point of view, it's like,
He's 30.
how much
owns a house.
how much to you for him looking out for you to be like, you shouldn't do this yet.
Right. Like and he's thinking when I was 21, I was worried about my next beer. I wasn't worried about a relationship,
Right.
you know? And that's where I was like,
It sounds
Just-
messy for him.
yes. And I was like, play it cool. I was like, I don't need to prove myself to him, but in a way I need to prove that I don't need a relationship with him. Like I want him to pursue it as much as I want to pursue it. So I kind of like took steps back and was like, let's just hang out as friends. Like all good. I didn't drive the ship. I was very chill about everything. And then after a while, it was like, so are we boyfriend, girlfriend? Like, you know? And then it took him a while. And then he finally officially asked me to be his girlfriend. But he's very like,
And you were already living together.
we were on vacation together in Mexico. Like you can't make it up. But he's very like monumental with things, like events. That is his like thing. He asked me to be his girlfriend when we were on vacation together. He told me I love you on my birthday. So when I get a ring, it's going to be something.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Yeah.
But like I think our timing has been really good because if we would have either already been engaged or trying to get married and all this stuff with his career was going on, that would have been just not fun. Like I want to enjoy planning a wedding. I want to enjoy being engaged in that little blip of life where like you're not dating and you're not married. You're just in that like very temporary phase. Like I want things to be good when we're doing that. I don't want, and you can't predict everything to happen, but like I think all the crap that we've dealt with over the last, 2 years
Oh yeah.
has made our relationship just astronomically stronger than if we hadn't have gone through anything.
Yeah.
So timing, I think it was good for me that I was done with school and like made a decision about my career, even though I was early in my career. Because again, like if I would have jumped in and he would have been ready to jump into a relationship right out the gate, like I don't know if I would have pursued my career as hard as I did, because I'd be worried about some boy, you know,
Versus at once.
versus like he just fully let me do my thing, which I sometimes got frustrated with, because like, don't you want to hang out, you know? But he's like, you're doing your thing, you're good. Which
Because I'm
so
sure
glad.
again he's thinking back when I was that age, like I was in grind mode, like I was in work trying to figure out my life.
Right.
This can't be another task.
Totally. So I think all in all, timing has been good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I forget that he's 9 years older than me. It doesn't feel like it. I also feel like I have grown so much in the time I've been in a relationship with him, that that's what makes it feel so crazy that he's so much older than me, because like we've grown together,
Yeah.
you know, and like 3 years feels like you said, you thought we were been together much longer than that. It just feels like it's been like 5 years, you know?
Yeah. That's what's weird is we've been together, what, 8 years now?
Yeah.
Sure, we have only really done that. We've only really done the growing together.
Yeah.
Because we were forced to.
I don't even, the 8 years thing, like it doesn't feel like it hasn't been 8 years. Like it doesn't feel like it's been longer. It doesn't feel like it's been shorter. It's just kind of like, I don't know.
Forget about time.
Yeah.
Which is good, I would say.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Like just what you go through together, I think, amounts to that. Like, that's what's kind of unique in your guys' situation. That I feel like you're going through similar life things, even though you're at different age categories. You're going through the same stuff. That I think that's what helped us grow up together. Is like you're experiencing the same things, kind of around the same time, and figuring them out together. That I don't know. I mean, like when we started dating, like the first couple months of us dating, your dad dies. Yeah. And then it's like we start with that. Like that's our jumping off point. Well, we start with you not even living in the same area, to you stopping the main thing that was in your life, to then a parent passing away, to then a couple years later we're moving across the country away from everything we know and everybody we know to start a brand new, like, your adult life and figuring it out.
Yeah.
That's like,
it's a lot of growing together.
And then it's just been like that, like on repeat.
Yeah.
For the last 8 years. That's like, you just.
And us knowing each other since 3rd grade.
Yeah.
That's
so it's like
crazy,
the dynamic between us has changed 400 times.
Yeah.
Like every grade in school, and being friends, and then kind of not talking to each other, and then being friends again, and then hanging out, and it's like
you go through a lot of like phases of life with that person.
Yeah.
I feel like you and Steven are like kind of similar phases.
We are, but I will say, like, sometimes I do feel my age when it comes to like relationship things outside of our relationship, like people doing me wrong. I have not had as much experience with that as he has, because he has 9 years on me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he is so good about just being like, move forward, let it go.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, I want to sit in it, and I want to talk about it, and I want to just let it control my whole week. And he's like, you just gotta let that go.
Because he's had so much practice, like, this isn't
so
gonna
much
work.
practice.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's where, like, I appreciate his guidance, but I also am like, I need to sit with this so that I learn how to move
a waste of
past
time it is. Yeah.
Like, well, yeah. So I learned how much of a waste. Yeah, because like you can tell me all day long, let it go, let it go, let it go. But like until I decide to actually let it go myself, I'm not gonna do it. You know. But it is encouraging to have that extra life experience already in our relationship when it comes to that, because like even just in career stuff or like friendships or whatever it is, you know, and like a lot of my friends are his age too. So then that's nice, because then, you know, his friends' wives, that they're the same age as my friends and they're going through similar things. So then it, you know, it's just like helps you understand people more.
Yeah.
The more experience you have in the world.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, like, we're only working with what we know.
Right.
And it's kind of the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, we do have a disadvantage with that.
But I do think an advantage of growing up together.
Yeah, that we're kind of creating it from the jump.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm also the oldest. He's the youngest. So I think I almost get to piggyback off of his siblings.
Yeah.
Because, like, I can be the youngest in that family. I can see them having kids first. I can see them getting married.
That's
I can see them, like, going through all that. It's like, okay, well, we have how many nieces and nephews? That's like, oh, they're going to be, like, I was there before any of them were born. So it's like, oh, I can see how all of you guys are doing this. That if I was just in my own family, like, I'm the one that's having to pave the way.
And that's weird for me because he's the oldest and I'm younger than everyone.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm probably going to go through all these life things before anyone else does. I'm younger than them.
Yeah.
I don't have to. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, it's weird. You know?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
age is so just...
It's whatever you go through at what time.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
But I think that also suits your personality anyways.
Yeah.
To be around older people. I think you probably, just like I did, like, searched that out.
Oh,
it's like,
I remember,
you would not be able to be with someone your age.
I remember being at a family reunion telling one of my family members, yeah, I'd rather talk to the adults. When I was like 7.
Yeah.
Like,
this seems like more of my crowd.
Yeah. No, I'm not kidding. Like, what kid says that?
Yeah. Like, they're, like, running around. It just seems kind of pointless.
Like, I want to talk to y'all.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We're just weirdos that became besties. And now we're doing a podcast in Florida during a hurricane.
I know. I mean, I am so, like, even though this job won't be forever, like, and as crazy as it can be, like, oh my gosh, what a good opportunity.
What a good opportunity.
Like, I would have, in what world would I have met you? Oh. And like we said, like, at such a capacity that it forces you to, like, mold with someone.
Yeah.
Because, like, what we're saying, like, you go through crazy shit together. It forces you to, like, cut all the bullshit because, like, we have to dial in. We can't do the fluff stuff like regular friends can. Like, we don't have time.
We don't go on dates with our friends.
I have to know you right now.
We're sleeping in the same room tonight.
Like, I just met you and now we're
showering.
Sleeping next to you.
Yeah, like, yeah. Like,
and that, like, the crazy scenarios, there's not time for me to deal with the fluff stuff about you and vice versa. Like,
no.
I need to know your traits. I need to know where you're going to fail and where you're going to pull through. And same thing with me. It's like, I know how we can work together.
Right.
Because this is a make or break situation, or at least what it feels like when you're there.
Oh, feels like it.
That
everything is riding on you.
That's such a good...
It's a good pressure. It's a good thing to do at the age.
Opportunity.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity we had at the point in our life we did, and, like, still do.
Yeah.
You know, like, I couldn't imagine trying to do that with kids. I couldn't imagine, like, I guess in the role I ended in, I couldn't imagine doing that when I was 16.
No.
Because I would not feel equipped or comfortable or whatever. Like, we grew into our roles as we got older, which it was, like, the perfect amount of expectation. And, like, this is riding on you to, like, make this happen. Mm-hmm. Like, never in my life did I think I would be guarding a door as security at this huge event, telling these people in costumes that they are not allowed to be in our event.
Kicking out homeless people.
What kind of security do I look like?
Yeah.
You know? Like, but the confidence you have to walk up to somebody and be like, hi, I need you to leave our event.
Yeah. But it's like, because they're like, you need to handle this.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I guess
figure it out. Figure it out. Or homeless person's outside the dressing room just sleeping there or doing something crazy. Sir, I need you to leave the premises. Like, who knows what could have happened? You know,
Yeah.
I'm not equipped.
And that, I mean, to me, for me at least, and I'm guessing it's for you, like, that's the longest job I've ever been in. Like, this will be my, like, 9th year.
I guess I started when I was like 15. I quit when I was 23? 22. 23?
I don't know.
You did one season without me?
Yeah.
So my last nationals was 23. Yeah,
Yeah.
23. So I was 20. I was about to be 23. So 8 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much my longest. Yeah, Boost will be my next longest. But yeah, longest one for sure.
Yeah, it's like we grew up
crazy.
in that.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, I mean, yeah.
So it made it so hard for me to leave.
Yeah.
But at that point, I was just like, I have so many things I'm trying to balance, and this is
getting in the way at that point.
Getting in the way of my next, of what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
But it's weird because you have grown up there, you have all these relationships, and like you said, like you get so close with these people on the weekends, and then you don't talk to them outside of that. So you're like, am I gonna lose all these people in my life? And it's like, no, clearly,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like the people that are meant to be in
You
your
bond
life are gonna
closer to.
be,
Yeah.
right. But it's just hard because it is a family vibe, even if you butt heads with people so hard.
Yeah. I mean, even this last year, like, I still talk to you, but like, you not being there was so difficult. Having him there it made it better. But like, there were so many moments where like, oh my God, I miss Caitlin so bad.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm used to, like, we started when I've known Caitlin since I was 16.
Yeah.
So it's like, I've known this person for so long and in such close, like, intimate settings. I worked every single city with her. So it's like, oh man, like, I'm used to this person being a large part of my life, and now they're just not.
Well, it's like what we talked about last night with change.
Yeah. And
like-
it's changed
it's like-
that you might not be like pushing, like, you're not, it's something that's happening to you.
You have no control. It's like the same idea of getting a sub for my early morning classes. When those people are so used to me, they have no control over the sub.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like when you graduate from school and you're like, I've seen these people every day for my whole life, and now I'm just never going to see them again.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess I just am going to
It's so funny.
adapt to that.
'Cause
Like, the
I
first time
look
I saw
back-
Caitlin at one of the cities, I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy to see you. Like, I was like, I want you here more. Like, I wanted her to like stay backstage, and I wanted her to sit. I was like, come sit with me for a little bit. Because I'm like, I am so used to you being in this with
Yeah.
me. And now you're just like, I'm never going to see you.
Yeah.
It's like, I knew I would see you.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, like, it is like when people talk about like being on like movies or shows, like, you're with them in such crazy conditions.
Yes.
And you, especially like I said, with our age, like, you grow up with those people, you learn these things with these people, you go through like all of these wild
Transformative
things.
years of your life.
Yes. And now it's just like,
They're gone.
guess I won't see you.
Yeah. It's like a relationship. I mean, it is.
Yes. It's like I broke up with someone and I didn't know that it was going to happen until it's like, oh, I guess I guess we're breaking up.
Necessary endings. You need to read that book.
The white one that you told me, that you showed me.
That's
Or
a
no.
different one.
Oh.
I didn't bring this one with me. I just have the audiobook. But it's about how there's so many endings in life that sometimes you don't see coming. Sometimes you do see coming, and you know it needs to happen, but you're just putting it off. You're putting it off. You're putting it off. A relationship, a job, a habit you have, like whatever it is. But like, there are necessary endings for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
That's part of growing up.
yeah.
Too.
Just part of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's like, think about it too. Like, he probably would have never come to those cities
Right.
if Kaylin and I were gone, if
Right.
we were still there.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, how nice they all get to share that experience now
Yes.
and be together and not spend time apart
Right.
6 months out of the year,
Right.
you know, and like mess with your routine as partners,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It's like one door closes, another one opens. Even the sense of people.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Do you feel like you have anything else to say?
No, I'm good.
Do you feel like you have anything else to say? Closing remarks?
Go move.
Go move. Okay. See you later.
Peace.